3 matches coming up for you folks, not too far away. And of course, the first one we have here is Hawthorn versus the Kangaroos. That's right, Hawthorn versus the Kangaroos. Should be a pretty good game, but I expect this one to go Hawthorn's way today with a very convincing victory. As of course, Hawthorn, as we have a quick look at the ladder, Hawthorn are sitting 7th on the ladder. They need to win today, and they will absolutely secure their spot in the finals come next week, as they've been on a rush for the latter half of this season. They are the informed team. They're the team that a lot of people worry about. And of course, North Melbourne down there on second bottom, well, they're just playing for a little bit of pride. But it's all about Hawthorn today. They need the victory. They need to get in to the finals, and this is what they have to do to win today. All right, let me just try and bring this out just a fraction more. I'll try and bring that. That's not too bad. Got that pretty spot on, I think, so far. We'll see how that goes. Maybe actually need a little bit further out. We'll see when that one lines up. Sorry about all the movement. Getting that there. Just trying to correct that. Get that spot on for all the folks out there. We'll get that lined up. Anyway, there are the odds today. That's as short as you can get. Hawthorn 103 to win, and of course the Kangaroos at $11.50 for this game. You don't see outsiders much more than this in a game of football or in a 2-horse race, but that's what it is today. 103, $11.50 to the Kangaroos. Let me just take that up a fraction. Goodness gracious me. Tell you what, folks, trying to get this correct, sometimes a little bit tricky. We'll see what happens when the worm comes in. Let's see if that worm's in. If not, there we go. All right, let's go and have a look at the ins and outs. And of course, for Hawthorn, we've got Magnus comes in, Will Day goes out. The Milestones, Lloyd Meek for his 50th game. Well done, Lloyd, on that one. Of course, Weddle, Frost, Impey are the fullbacks for Hawthorn, the halfbacks. D'Ambrosio, Sicily, who is the main man down there on Scrimshaw. The centres are Nash, McDonald, Amon. Bruce Deer and Magnus is the half forwards. Of course, Mackenzie, Chol, Watson are the forwards. The followers are Meek, Dylan Moore and John Newcomb. And there we have the interchanges of Morrison, Hardwick, Ginnivan, Warple, Gunston. For the Kangaroos, we've got the ins coming in. Will Phillips, Toby Pink, Blake Drury, and of course the outs going Coburn, Bergman and Eddie Ford. Their fullbacks are Archer, Core, McDonald. Their halfbacks, Scott, Powell, McKercher. Shields, Ukanaki and Stevens are their centres. Tucker, Fisher, Zerha are the half forwards, and of course their forwards are Curtis, Larkey and Teagle. Followers are Zeri, Wardle, looking for a big game from Wardle today, and Simpkin. Phillips, Pink, Drury, Dawson and Hanson Jr. are the interchange for the boys there today. That is the lineup for today. And we are only 3 minutes out from this game. Don't forget, folks, if you're in the live, we've got a live poll there. Who do you think is going to win the game today? Will it be Hawthorn or will it be North Melbourne? So you can put your vote in there. Don't forget to vote, and we'll see how the results go at the end of the game. We'll see. We'll see how many got it right and whose team won. There we go. So we're only a few minutes away now, just under 3 minutes away before the live action, the first bounce of the ball gets underway. So just want to welcome everyone in today. As I said, we have We've got 3 games on the agenda today, and of course the first one is this one, Hawthorn and North Melbourne. Of course, straight after this game, we're going to go to the Richmond Gold Coast Suns game, and following that, we will head to a big match, Sydney versus Adelaide. This could be the quest for top position. If Sydney win that, they will secure a top spot and be the minor premiers for 2024 and guarantee a home final for them for next week. Normally, folks, the top 4 is the place you want to be. You want to end up at the end of the season to give yourself the best chance. Of course, first and second, they get home finals. First will play 4th. Second will play 3rd. So if Sydney happen to win this tonight, they will definitely secure their spot as top of the ladder. And then we just have to work out through the games today and tomorrow who will play who. And of course, the big matches coming up will be the Western Bulldogs, Hawthorn and Carlton. Can they all do it? Or can one of them get beaten? And can Fremantle win the final game of the home and away season and sneak into the top 8 and play finals? That will be the question that everyone wants answered, and it should be an absolute ripper of a weekend of football. Of course, last night we had Melbourne play Collingwood, and of course Collingwood came out victors on that game. Collingwood won that 103 to Melbourne 57. Unfortunately for the Magpies, they didn't win by enough. Their percentage was a little bit low. So as you can see on the ladder, they won. They've had their final game. They fell short on the percentage, 8% behind Carlton. So that's why the Magpies are still 9th, and there's still a chance for other teams to get into that. As I said, Fremantle is the only other team that can sneak into the final 8. All depends on what happens in the 4 matches with Carlton, Hawthorn, Western Bulldogs and Fremantle, but it should be an absolute cracker. All right, folks, we're going to go down to the ground. Players are all there, all set. The umpires are there. We'll take you down to the ground for the commentator of the bounce of the ball, the match here between Hawthorn and North Melbourne, down there at UTAS Stadium in Launceston, Tasmania.
Finals and had a win way back in 2007. That's where the Hawks sit at the moment. They could get as high as 4th. Very unlikely. All those teams above them, the Bulldogs, Brisbane and Geelong, would have to lose, but they need to win to make sure that they're there in September.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of interest around Hawthorn at the moment. They're the real danger outside the top 4. Traditionally, history's against the teams that don't finish in the top 4. We know that, but the way Hawthorn have been playing the last 6 weeks, they're as good a chance as anyone. It wouldn't surprise if they could go all the way through, but obviously they've got to get past today, Hutto. And really, it's a juicy match-up in the midfield, Bucks. That's what I'm really looking forward to. I know North Melbourne are a long way down the table, but both extremely talented midfield groups. Jai Newcomb has just gone from strength to strength, especially later in the year. The last month, he's been sensational, the 3rd highest rated player in the competition.
Yeah, Hawthorn have just got players that have popped up in all facets of the game and in all areas of the field. And if it's not Newcomb, it's Warple. If it's not Warple, Will Day, who's out today. But their small forwards have been excellent. Their back 6 and 7 has been on song. So when they come up against the North Melbourne midfield, LDU has been an excellent performer throughout the season. You have a look at his last 2 years back to back, and that's ultimate consistency there, isn't it? Regardless of team performance, he's been able to perform and impact because he's a contested ball winner. He doesn't rely on others to go and apply his trade.
That's right. And one to watch there. They're 2 really good centre-bounce midfielders, very good at their craft. Obviously, Wardlaw's a star, an up-and-coming star for North Melbourne as well. Tristan Cherry in the All-Australian conversation as far as rucks go, but Meek's had a very underrated year as well, so that'll be fantastic to watch. Frost may play on Nick Larkey. Nick Larkey running back into a bit of form later on in the season. Up the other end of the ground, Jack Gunston's kicked 12 goals in the last 3 games. So, there's a lot to like.
One to watch for me is Jarman Impey as well, an experienced player who's played in finals in the past. He's got a little bit more wherewithal, but his run and carry from the back has been first class. And from all reports, speaking to some of the Hawthorn players, his leadership has been huge to drive this group to speak to them about testing the limits of their capabilities, and that's one of the reasons that we're seeing what we're seeing.
They've taken all before them this year, Hawthorn. One more step and they are in. And that step is taking place here in Tasmania. They have the young Kangaroos. Brash out of the middle, Wardlaw. Sending it wide to Zerhart, who read that nice and early and marks in front of Hart.
In any contest, it's so important to impose yourself early. So North Melbourne will be looking to do that, and Hawthorn the same.
Cherry's pushing forward. There's Impey, as you talked about, having an impact, larking over in there. Weddle as a defender.
It's interesting there, Tristan Sherry, you're right, pushed hard forward. He's getting big numbers for a ruckman, averaging over 20 disposals.
I wonder how closely Nathan is watching Brownie.
Yes. Let's put the acid on him.
With the All-Australian ride on this performance today.
Well, it's a very deep crop of rucks this year.
Well, I will say that there's 4 or 5 positions that were still up for grabs a week and a half ago, and we'll discuss those on Monday.
Surely that's one of them. Meek, could he put his hand up late in his 50th game? He's had an excellent season, as most of the players that have joined Hawthorn in the last couple of years have. Warple tries to clear the immediate danger. Tough one for Watson. Got big on him. Scott to Simpkin to Wardlaw. Desperation from Ginnivan. He got through 2 tackles, or sort of anyway. Or Shields copped it from Morrison. No big pardons early.
Interesting that Liam Shields taking the ball when it's quite clearly a slow one. You're going to get tackled. We've seen so many modern players actually tap that on to their teammates now.
Nash. Crash.
Whereas the old school was take possession and then you own the game from there, which is exactly what Liam Shields did.
Still up for grabs. Was Morrison tagged high? He was. Advantage paid and taken smartly by Impey, who's off. This is where they quickly transition from dogged defence into fast-running offence. McDonald coming the other way, the co-captain. A little bit greasy and hard to get hold of. McKercher, though, makes a lie of that. Sends it forward. Free kick to Simpkin.
Saw a few of those let go last night. It's good to see that the rule's still in place.
Deep to Zerha, who had a real opportunity there to take the mark, but it gets away from him.
Well, North Melbourne have started with, really brightly. They've had a couple of clearances that they've been able to get forward position. They've withstood Hawthorn's first rebound and were able to outnumber and bring the ball back in from defensive mid. 3 inside 50s to nothing. They'd be pretty happy with that in the coach's box.
Yeah, well set up beyond the ball. The veteran Luke McDonald just organising the troops. He's the deepest.
And coming down, clearing kick Nash again. So first priority for Hawthorn so far has been all about defence. Watson crashed to the ground, no whistle. Warple creative with Newcombe. As we said, no Will Day today. A couple of long sleeves are in the frame then. Ginnivan back to Morrison. Chol gives him a target, and so does Deere, who continues to impress. Ginnivan inside 50 with a low ball. Crashes over Moore's head and Tucker sees it out.
Yeah, the reason Hawthorn had to use the short there, so Luke McDonald, well organised behind the ball. He had to set up there, as was Callan Dawson as well. So obviously they're very conscious of the way Hawthorn moved the ball from one end of the ground to the other, trying to keep a player out the back to stop that.
Sherry to the front. More ever dangerous.
One thing that North have done pretty well, and even with that one, when Hawthorn were able to go end to end, they were forced really wide. North Melbourne had rolled back out of their forward line, emptied out their forward line, and they owned and outnumbered through the centre corridor and the centre square. Hawthorn liked to go through there, so it might be a defensive ploy that North Melbourne looking to impose.
A bit going on off the ball there. Free kick going to the ruckman. Looks like Tucker has got a watch on Dylan Moore. Sherry bombs up to the wing. Clearing kick from Shields, so gets involved, gets him to half forward.
We found him. Hawthorn have set up with that extra number, especially when they've got it in their front half. They basically get a back who's the deepest in their setup, and it provides for really good defence, but then sets up their offence like this.
No one gets it there quicker than Sicily through the air to Weddle, and it opens up wide. They're very happy to go as wide as this need be. Impey tosses it up. The invitations, Child not far away. Maybe unrealistic.
Fair decision.
Is there a more exciting player in the comp at the moment, Joy? than Josh Weddle when he gets the ball out in space.
He's right up there, isn't he? He's really grown and developed throughout the season as the rest of his teammates have. But interesting that we can see the conditions. Obviously, the rain's coming down now. Hawthorn traditionally have been happy to go low, let their small forwards go to work, but their 2 or 3 inside 50s have been high to a contest. So I think that'll change pretty quickly.
12 degrees currently, all close to an hour over.
You can see behind the ball already that Hardwick and Weddle are one out against Toby Pink, and they're creating that outnumbered deep. It makes it really hard for North Melbourne to get penetration and depth in general play.
There are a few thunderstorms around. After last night, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Tucker and Warple have made their claims. Watson hit it hard as he always does. Ask questions of those trying to stop him. Flicks it back for Amon, and Ginnivan perfectly placed to kick the first goal of the game.
If there's one aspect of Hawthorn's offence that's been really impressive and consistent throughout Sam Mitchell's tenure, it's been that last kick inside 50. And it's been a differential between their best footy and their worst. When they weren't hitting these targets, they weren't able to defend sides bouncing back off them, but they hit more inside 50s and take as many marks inside 50s as any team in the competition, because they've got so many options to go to and great users as well.
He's added a lot, as we know, to the Hawks. His goal kicking this year has been well below what we've seen in previous years, but he knows straight away that one's through. Extra reason to celebrate for Jack Ginnivan. He puts it through, and Hawthorn are away. And let's just keep our eyes on that live ladder. Have a look at that.
Wow, look at the second chance. How long can they remain for? Yeah, game over. Call the mercy rule. You're right. Yeah, so they're built up. The way they move the ball has got remnants of 2008, hasn't it? And they, obviously the Hawthorn era was well known for their ability to hit the targets inside 50, especially the uncontested mark. So their ball speed was magnificent. Their kicking skills were magnificent. They had so many left footers. And just the way they can find gaps in amongst the crowded defence.
Are we giving Nick Watson a handball for that?
Sure.
A disposal for that? It was a fumble in the general vicinity of his teammates, but the pace that he hit the ground level ball at, I'm impressed with how hard he actually hits the contest. He makes him a really hard player to defend.
24 goals, 25 for the in-out for Ginnivan. The Hawks have a goal under their belt and they're away. McGuinness, who came into the team, Sam Mitchell said he wanted a bit more flexibility out on the wing. That's where McGuinness is located. The kick slides off hands. Here's Gunston. Oh, from there. Just for a moment.
He's the veteran's been in great form the last few weeks, Jack Gunston. He's back into that system that he's obviously familiar with and comfortable. Just didn't quite fit up there in Brisbane, but back home now at Hawthorn's had a great finish.
His last 3 rounds, 5, 3 and 4 goals.
Yeah.
Only second only to Hogan in the comp.
And it's important too, that veteran leadership there, along with Luke Bruce especially, just to guide these young charges around the field, especially in the front half.
Well, he's playing a little bit of a disruptor role as well on Jacob Wiedering and positioning himself against the opposition's best intercept defender and being able to try and position himself so that they've got to think about him as well. So he's using his guile and his smarts and getting on the end of some pretty damaging Hawthorn offence.
But they're push and shove going on inside that forward 50. Kick is deep. No one can really get a rise at it. So Core has first play. He was losing his footing, but didn't lose his mind. He was able to get it safely to Fisher. And on the bobble, Hanson Jr. takes the mark. Added a bit over the last few weeks. Makes it up to the wing. Pink couldn't quite. Hardwick who now, it's high.
Not a great way to start your last game.
Why am I retiring? Oh, that's why.
Busted stout in the last game.
Stevens, the ex-Swan, into the ex-Blue, and Fisher. They're able to work their way gradually through Dawson to McKercher. Are we going to see a possession game at times here from North? Obviously really difficult to do that in these conditions. You do wonder what sort of challenges Hawthorn are going to face that they haven't seen so far come finals, but for now it gets scrappy, but not fatal that kick, not yet anyway. Davies Uniac with all his skills and attributes gets it to centre half forward. Warlock, quick reflexive handball was good. Hanson flies it back in and gets absolutely collared, and thought, well, I might as well keep going with it.
The wry smile of Zerha.
Yeah.
He knew exactly that he'd got Ginnivaned and definitely followed through to make the most of
I
it.
just want to get both sides of the head. I'm going to get one. But they do turn it back over. Stevens, quick assessment. Zerha was there with either a kick or a handball. He chose by hand, and then more of the same into the pocket to Larky. Really just it set him up, didn't it, for a fall.
Yeah, it's in the goal square. It would have been a brave call though to tap it over. It looks like he might have just hurt himself a little bit, Nick Larky.
And that doesn't augur well for North's prospect. He's such an important player, isn't he? Yeah, there we go. He just became with Comben out, he becomes even more important again.
Condon had a couple of nasty injuries last week. He's missing the game with concussion, but also got a leg injury, basically dead leg. One of them.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, dead leg.
Return.
Yeah, and he's got to have shoulder surgery as well, so he'll go in early and get that surgery done. But be interesting to see with Charlie Comben whether he comes back next year as a forward, because certainly when he played there a few weeks ago, when Griffin Logue was back, he was fantastic as a forward. 3 goals in the first half. Fantastic support from Nick Larky. It's Larky's natural sway is probably to be more of a leading type forward, Hutto, whereas Charlie Comben's that marking aerial presence.
Well, they've looked much better, haven't they, with a bit more size. Tickle as well in the front half.
Yes.
Playing the more contest brand in the second half of the season. Unfortunately, hasn't really yielded great results overall for the year. Davies Uniac, Child bringing that pressure, the trademark. And he's added to Hawthorn, even for a big guy.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. You're right. And just on North, they are trying to go a little bit taller, but you're right, Hutto. The conditions don't suit that today, so it will be interesting to see what the strategy is forward of the ball for the rest of the game.
Luke Bruce, the sub again. He can change the mix-up. Nash waiting for a chance to close out Stevens. He wasn't able to get it. There's Powell. Terry, just a quick one. It's a half forward away from Zerha. Cross-defended Larky. Hansen came blistering through. Zerha again sat on his feet. Puts Wardlaw on a path to goal. He's delivered it for the Roos. Nonchalantly takes the adulation, and they are right in it.
Yeah, that's excellent reward for a really promising beginning for North Melbourne. It's 5 inside 50s each, but Hansen Jr.'s been excellent. His last 5 minutes, to put his teammates into space, to buzz through a contest and break the lines to create this opportunity for George Wardlaw, and then the finish was pretty sharp as well. So if I'm Alistair Clarkson, I'm looking out there, I'm thinking, well, we're winning enough of the ball. We're chaining, even in these conditions, we're chaining the ball and rolling towards corridor really well with our hands, and we're bullocking the ball forward. You've asked a question already. You've taken some of Hawthorn's game away from them. It's a really promising start.
Here we go.
Shields back on. Wardlaw has a break. He's one of 8 North Melbourne players who have played just 25 games or under. He's bang on the 25. Just the one win, which came in his 19th game. Davies Uniac again. Kangaroos getting it to half forward. Hansen Jr. not far away. Larky was there. Here's Frost. Takes the meterage. Ginnivan just biding his time, and it gets away from McDonald.
I think we should expect more of those, indiscriminate kicks to ground or to grass. I think that's definitely something that would advantage the Hawthorn forwards against any of the North Melbourne defenders, and I think they're going to get a barrage of ground ball at some stage throughout this match.
Sam Mitchell once had 44 touches here, which is the second best individual performance in a game at this ground.
Yeah, he's amazing. It's been quite scary watching him in the pre-game. He used to be out there about 2 hours before a game, just walking around with the ball, doing tricks. And he's the most skillful player I've seen doing that. He was quite amazing. He was like Maradona with an AFL ball. And obviously you put that on show when you come up against him more often than not.
Sounds like he worked and intimidated the opposition anyway.
He did. It was all mind games.
And Watson gets taken high. We've seen that before. And he'll have the shot for goal. Ruffling a few feathers. Doesn't seem to worry him at all.
Well, if you're a North Melbourne fan, you're looking at it and going, look, they're playing for it. This is, how are we falling for this? But they are both legitimately there. And I think one thing we've got to give credit for is the small forwards to going and getting the ball in their hands first. When you have the ball in your hands, you control the game and you're challenging the opposition. So neither Zerha, I'm not sure who tackler was it Scott?
Scott, yep.
Yeah, who weren't able to effectively tackle the player. And if you do, you'll get rewarded. If you don't, you get penalised.
After 6-18 in his first 9 games, it's been a big improvement of late with his accuracy. 9 goals, 5 in his last 6 games, but unfortunately that's on the wrong side of the ledger there.
Yeah, he played well last week as well, but you're right, he's just getting more accurate. He hit that beautifully. Small margins in wet weather like that.
Yeah, we've seen enough evidence now, Bucks, haven't we, with the we know what they're going to do, well, collectively, the week. So it's how you then, the technique you employ, I guess.
Well, potentially then he did drop, but maybe only half a foot when it used to be 1.5 foot. So you've still got the opportunity to tackle well if you get low enough. But that just shows you how difficult it is to umpire the game.
Yeah.
To see Jackson Archer there in the background. Connor McDonald's had a fantastic season. Jackson Archer as well is building a nice career for himself the last few weeks, especially taking after his old man. He's brave in the air. He's willing to go and support his teammates and leave the contest, leave the man that he's playing on.
Well, he's probably been a player who has preferred to play a little undersized against an aerial opponent.
Yes.
This will be a great challenge for him to go further onto a small forwards who don't get as involved in the aerial contest but need to be quelled at ground level. So it's just another opportunity to develop at the level.
So early evidence, this is not going to be a walk in the park for the Hawks. Conditions adding to that, but North have come to really oppose them and play and make it hard. Newcombe gives them another opportunity. That fell beautifully in the lap of Joel, and he did read it well.
He's had a good year, hasn't he? That was fantastic craft. Just was able to lean in the core, make their contact at the right time and release, and Core couldn't recover from that. I like the low ball in as well, so Newcomb's had a really good start as well. It's his 4th disposal, but just he drove that in. Instead of just bombing along, which is the tendency in the wet weather, makes it a hell of a lot easier then for the forward.
33 goals, 20. Only goalless in 3 games for the season, Mabi or Joel. Flirted with that left goal post, but it's in, and the Hawks have 2.
Yeah, good finish. Well done there, Barbie Joel. Richmond, then to the Gold Coast, and then back down to Melbourne, obviously, to play for Hawthorn. He's been fantastic and really built, and just they needed it because Mitch Lewis has been injury interrupted once again, so he's been the main focal point. They've been able to find Deer, and obviously Gunston's been a fantastic support as that veteran presence there, but this guy's really been the main man down there.
Yeah, 34 for Joel, 31 for Moore.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, Gunston was 27 a lot in the last few weeks, and Luke Bruce in and out as the sub with 18 goals.
Hawthorn have been able to score 4 times from their 7 inside 50 entries, so a little bit of a red flag there for the North Melbourne defence. Only 2 inside 50 marks to get those 4 scores.
They have 4 options who can ruck as well. Joel is one of those. Newcombe initially displaced, but he gets away with those smart hands to McGuinness. He's able to withstand the would-be tackle. Off to Morrison. Good leading up to the footy from Watson. He's buzzing around everywhere, making his presence felt. Makes the call that long is the go to full forward. Deer doesn't fly. Cherry almost drags it down. Newcombe was the threat momentarily.
Everywhere at the moment. John Newcombe, what a fantastic start he's had. He had that centre clearance, then rushed inside to tap that ball through.
Kircher, prolific young player that he is.
Back in his home deck or home state. Kircher and Tassie.
Yep. Had 37 disposals last time he was here a couple of weeks ago against the West Coast, in the state against the West Coast Eagles. And that heartbreaking loss in Hobart. Frost. And they've just started to take the territory, haven't they? A bit more regularly over the last 5 minutes, which creates opportunity. And he's on the run, is Watson. An early one for the Wiz, and he is going to celebrate hard.
Good craft by Marby Achol the last 2 aerial contest Bucks. Once the mark, that time the tap.
Yeah, look, that's Clarko a little bit distressed by that, as he should be, but Chol's been a really good aerial target, hasn't he? But when you've got these sort of players, so Fisher, who pretty much got out positioned there and went corridor when Watson just went front and centre, and I don't know, you think about it, Jason Ackermanis in that situation, Brandy, just get to the front,
yes.
Unfortunately. But Yeah, that was brilliant play by Watson, and had the speed to get back on his preferred foot and finish a couple of shots on goal already. And that's 5 scores from, or 6 scores from 9 inside 50s now. So that's a real concern for North. The alarm bells will be ringing in their coach's box about their front or their back half play.
Credit to Frost as well. So there's a warning. Credit to Frost. He didn't blast away. It's almost like a 3-quarter kick.
As you saw, 3 goals, 1 last week. He's had 1 miss and 1 hit so far, Watson. And when the Hawks are there in September, if they go on with this, he's going to be one of many weapons. They are must-see TV, the Hawks, aren't they? They're just moving into their work now. They crowd out, just relentless pressure. Every time the Kangaroos get their hands on the ball, there's 2 or 3 Hawthorn players after them.
Yeah, they're showing the capacity to win in different ways and to score in different ways, Hawthorn. I mean, this is a heavily contested game. As Meek copped one in the head there from Cherry, I reckon we'll get a replay of that. He pretending to hit the footy and got him right in the chops.
McKenzie from the heart. Little hands, as was needed, to aim on, and they come again. Deers in front. Gunston stayed down. McGuinness.
Carl Amon's another one that's had a great last few weeks. Just off the back, that one is that high.
Simpson went in.
Yeah.
I think that, in the end, that's probably smart umpiring.
I'm happy with that to be paid.
Yeah.
The balance of looking after the ball carrier.
Nick got around. The ball got out the back. Stevens, Fisher. Got all those hands go up from the Hawthorn players saying, you've got to pay it.
Yeah.
Missed kick, but didn't do enough to keep it in.
They're always going to be paid now.
Weddle in the driving rain. We spotted Morrison, but he copped one as well. Watson's there.
It's been lively, Watson. There's so many dangerous small forwards here and midfielders Hawthorn. Just who to match up on here, who to watch for North Melbourne coming through.
Yeah, hard to know where to look, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Don't need that if you're a North Melbourne fan.
Well, I think there's so many dualities in the game. You hear a whistle blown for a ruck contest, and it looks like it could be a free kick against both. So this is the difficulty of our game at times. But Meek was actually had his right arm over the top of Sherry's shoulder and looked like he was blocked out of the contest in some shape or form. When it's a 50-50 contest like that, a shot at goal is a big penalty to play.
How big a penalty?
Not the biggest.
Not the biggest, as it turns out. A couple of free kicks now that could have been more costly.
Well,
these two are going hard. This was just earlier. Just a whack over the chops. And this is what I like. He's just got his wrist there. That's what the umpire saw. I love this combative contest in the ruck. These are 2 legitimate big men that are going to town and will do against each other for 90% of the game.
Quick glance to the infield for Sicily. He spotted Warple. Life got difficult. Well done, Teakle. Quickly to Simpkin in a rush, though, with no semblance of control. So Weddle with the eyes up.
Even that kick by Sicily, they're so aggressive, aren't they? In the way to go back into the corridor like that.
Teasing handball from Scrimshaw. Weddle uses his pace, gets away, sends it deep. Maximum danger on the kick, but McDonald steadfast.
And McDonald has Gunston, and Gunston has got McDonald. He's actually looking for him because McDonald wants to be the +1 general of the North Melbourne defence, and Gunston's going to go man him up, force him to take McDonald's focus away from setting up in field position. So the tactic has worked really well for Hawthorn in the last 3 or 4 weeks with Gunston.
So do you try and switch to another loose man, another player for North Melbourne?
Not every player who plays behind the ball has the attributes to be able to know the space and where to go to. I think Stewart, think Zach Tui.
McKercher to centre half forward. And Zerha on the edge of his range here.
Stay out behind.
If you've got multiple players that can do it, it's nearly important these days because the opposition are trying to take it away.
Scoreless last week, plays it wide to Wardlaw. He's a fraction closer, but the degree of difficulty may not be much different.
Go back and kick it, son.
Okay, there's the advice.
Where's the flags, Hutto?
There's not much breeze.
There's
a lot of rain.
Yeah, they're taking the flags down.
Got a goal.
Used to be more confident kicking to the right of screen. I always felt that was usually the favourable end.
Got one on the run. recently turned 20. One of the contenders for the Rising Star. Won't be a score. Scrimshaw defending first. Pink. Oh, that is close to being intentionally over the line. If the umpire saw what we saw, and he's going to pay us. Yeah.
He's got to be consistent.
Scrimshaw getting the explanation, but it was pretty clear. So bonus for Toby Pink here. Been in and out of the team during the season. 6 goals, 5 in his 14 games. Kicked a goal against West Coast a couple of weeks ago, and he's just missed to the near there. Really needed that one.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, they've lost control in the clearance lately. So North's midfield, which is strong enough, needs to lift there.
A big move from Sicily, but it's gone right at the chest of Core, who didn't really have to move a muscle to take the mark.
Good play from Core. He wasn't moved out of that space by his direct opponent because I think Joel wanted to move him so that they could get runners run through that part of the field, but done the homework and stayed in the dangerous space.
Davies Uniac was frustrated initially, but kept his head. He identified Dawson, so they get a little closer. Core, this is a rarity. Wasn't the best of kicks out of the 50. D'Ambrosio's still got some issues. Needed help. McKenzie, Scrimshaw, they're just staying ahead of the danger. D'Ambrosio, Child, well done Core. Off balance, still made the spoil and kept it in the front half for North. Scott scooting around, back to Fisher, to McDonald. They'll come again. Keep trying to ask questions of this Hawthorn defence. They have the answers for now.
At least they set up better though, Hutto. So we have seen this from North Melbourne last few weeks. Just been a little bit slow with the ball movement, saying set up defensively behind.
Pink to Fisher, and they're deep again. Can Curtis get to it? Hardwick says no. Well done, Frost initially. D'Ambrosio to Sicily. Wardlaw, he was just waiting for that.
Yeah, just the alteration they made, Bucks. Obviously, early in the year, that North ball, it was exciting to watch, but they're getting heavily scored against. So I think they've just slowed things down a bit. You can just see now they move the ball and build up their defence behind. So if they do turn the ball over, they've got protection.
Can they get some reward here for North Melbourne? Wardlaw, big tackle on Nash. McDonald, eventually they're going to get away, the Hawks, it looks like. They'll get a scramble and kick along the wing.
But that surge footy's worked really well for Hawthorn. They're not afraid of that contested footy, the high-pressure game that's going to come their way across half-back. They will flick the ball around, they will knock it on, and they will surge together to get yards.
Dawson with just under 3 minutes to go in this opening term. Big clump of players there. Frost, Moore. D'Ambrosio's had a good... What about that one?
The great season, D'Ambrosio.
Good 5 minutes too.
Yeah, it'd have to be a surprise to Hawthorn. They wouldn't have known what they were getting. Obviously, they liked him, but wouldn't have realised he was capable of producing an All-Australian level performance in his first season as a younger player.
What are you saying?
I'm just saying, well, why would Essendon let go an All-Australian calibre player?
Well, he has had an All-Australian calibre year, hasn't he? He's been brilliant, but of course Hawthorn knew, otherwise they wouldn't get him in. They'd be very impressed with what they're saying.
Swings it into the middle. Bypasses more, but Impey provides the next line for the Hawks. They overplayed their hand a little bit, not so Wardlaw. Steady back to McKercher, onto his left side. Guiding ball for Larkey at the back, Pink. Hit him hard, Curtis. Oh, Shields was dreaming of a goal in his last game there. He could see it come to fruition. Not to be, at least not for now. Hardwick belts it back. Ginnivan, how quickly things can change. He is surrounded though. And Fisher played it smartly to McKercher. He's backing back, so a bit off balance on the kick. Can McDonald get a hand to it? Yep. So Archer's down there somewhere, we believe. There he is.
Yeah, that looks, he's dragging his right leg. So, and Drury's already warming up, so it could be a soft tissue. We'll see if we can. We'll find out next couple of minutes, won't we?
Sure, his name, he'll just run it off.
Get going. Well, he's got some similarities to the old man.
Drury is back in the team as the sub today. Luke Bruce did his customary role for Hawthorn. So they've really come to provide a contest, the Kangaroos, but they find themselves 15 points behind. They've only won 3 first quarters for the year, as they've only won 3 games. Moore, he hasn't been given any space so far by Tucker. Impey, influential this season, and again in this phase. Ginnivan was able to turn and twist and spot. And Deere takes the mark. Close enough.
He's had a good first quarter. Jack Ginneman, 7 disposals now. Kicked the goal also. He set that up. D'Ambrosio been fantastic. He's had the 8 disposals, as Newcomb's had 6. So look at Cal Shadir. What a find he's been, especially the second half of the year, Bucks.
Yeah, he's been huge. Yeah, the Rising Star nomination last week. But just the basics of the Hawthorn players in these conditions. John Newcomb was so low to take that ground ball. There was no way that he was not going to do that effectively and efficiently.
At really close range, he's been excellent. And that is beautifully executed. They take full toll again, the Hawks. And the lead now is out to 21 points. Cal Shadir, his 20th goal for the season. They're 12-2 when he's played. He's been subbed off regularly, but he's made a really significant contribution given the absence of Mitch Lewis for most of the year.
We know that Sam Mitchell has been a basics coach, and he's been coaching his team to do the simple things really well. And in wet conditions, you know you've got the weapons in different part of the field, but unless you do the basics really well, you can't combine all of them together. So just a simple ground level, clean handling, hitting targets, being predictable with the way that you use the ball, with the running patterns defensively to be able to bounce from. So all the little things that Hawthorn are doing well at the moment.
And quick smart there out of the middle from Warple to McGuinness. They're pressing his more. Tucker doing a good job.
And it just builds pressure on the opposition by doing those simple things well. I mean, the ball ends up flying to left of screen and spending more time left of screen. You're scoring 8 times from 14 entries. You're defending. You've had 9 entries you've defended for only 2 scores against. So that's that yin and yang that you were talking about before the game, Brownie.
Drury with the Massard's gun, getting ready to get out there if he's called upon. Warple so close to the boundary line. I think he was prepared to take it over, but nervous to do so. So it stays in. Wardlaw in a cut and thrust. He might have earned himself some high contact, but no.
He's been excellent. He keeps putting himself in the contest, and once again, he's probably one of those players that is doing the basics really well. Had 7 touches on his own already in a goal.
He's trying to run it off.
He is, yeah. Is it a corky? Wouldn't be running off a muscle strain, as he said before. He's not happy.
He's pointing down to his calf a little bit.
He's been a real positive this year for North.
Oh, he's been fantastic, yeah. One to look forward to next year. Yeah, they've got to rebuild their defence, so they need to get Griffin Logue back there. Charlie Conlon was a real bright spot. Jackson Archer the last few weeks especially.
Shields able to extract it, as he so often has over the journey.
He strikes me as a player who is not going to leave anything in the tank, Jackson Archer.
No.
So he would have been redlining, and this is his exposure at this level. Sometimes it leaves you predisposed for soft tissue injuries or for breaking down at times. Another pre-season, harden your body even further. I'm really looking forward to what he can do in the next a couple of years, but then beyond.
And the confidence gain he would have developed over the last few weeks, he would go into that pre-season with the knowledge that, I can play at this level. Yeah. And that gives him fantastic confidence the way he can attack his training, attack his role within that pre-season training. But I think the physio might be telling him to say, mate, we've got bigger fish to fry here. Not worth taking any unnecessary risks in the last round of the year.
Well, you've got to be able to go around and run around at 100%. You can't afford to have players that aren't fully fit.
So quarter time at UTAS Stadium in Launceston. The Kangaroos may well be one down. They're 21 points down on the scoreboard. 4-4-28 Hawthorn. On their way to September. They lead North 1-1-7. And we know, while we're looking forward to the AFL finals in the men's, the AFL...
All right, folks, quarter time down at UTAS Stadium in Tasmania, and it's Hawthorn doing it well, 4-4-28, leading North Melbourne 1-1-7. A little bit of a slow start to the game, but you probably expect that from North Melbourne. Hawthorn probably just thinks they can get out, take a little bit of a walk in the park and do this job very easily. But that's what's happening. I think the class of Hawthorn is showing through. And that being said, I think, both teams are probably going not at 100% yet. I think probably North Melbourne, probably about 70%. Hawthorn about 75% as well. They haven't really got that full run going yet like they do in the high pressure games. But expecting a good, easy victory here for Hawthorn. We'll have a look at the live ladder in a moment just to see what difference this win is going to make to them. Just welcome in a few people. Jamar, the stats man. How you going, Squire? Dalton, the sniper's in the house. Fintan, all channels together. Ryan's in the house. Good stuff. Rhea was here. Thanks, Rhea, for coming in. Of course, ET was here. And, of course, Helen Murphy. G'day again. How you going? And, of course, the manager, Tina Bem Bem's in the house. Make a love shout-out day. There we go. All right, let's just have a quick look at this live ladder. And what does that mean? If Hawthorn win today, that means at present they're jumping into 4th spot. Double chance for the Hawks. Being said, Geelong, Brisbane, Dogs, Carlton are still yet to play. So anything could happen, folks. I think, well, does it really come down to percentage now? Probably not for Hawthorn because Brisbane percentage is so much better. Western Bulldogs percentage is so much better. The only percentage that could change is Carlton Hawthorn. So Hawthorn would still want to win by as big a margin as possible. But the live ladder, they've put Hawthorn up into 4th spot. So it's going to be interesting for the next games and what happens, where Hawthorn's going to end up. As I said, this will change throughout the course of the weekend as the matches continue to be played. And we'll definitely keep you up to date on the other match that's going to be played today. Of course, Geelong West Coast. That starts in about 37 minutes time, so we'll keep you updated on the score of that game for all the Geelong supporters out there to see how they're going. And of course, the match after this one will be going to Richmond and the Gold Coast. A little bit of a dead rubber there, but nonetheless, a game to do just for the fans out there. Pies need North to win. If we have a look at the ladder, even if Hawthorn, if we take off the live ladder, even if Hawthorn get beaten today, Collingwood are still on the same points as Hawthorn, but their percentage is what hurts Collingwood the most. At 102, that 9%, yeah, that definitely won't be made up today. I think even with Carlton, I think Carlton would have to probably lose by a couple of 100 points. But it was a good win last night by the Pies, that is for sure. Let's just have a little bit of a look at the player stats, who's getting all the touches at the moment. And that is Zach Fisher there for North Melbourne, leading the way with 10. He's had 8 kicks, 2 handballs, 2 marks. Colby McKercher on 9. Ambrosi is having a good game there for the Hawks on 8. George Wardle looks pretty impressive out there at the moment for North Melbourne. And he's a bit of a gun, he is, and doing well. Jack Ginnivan getting into a little bit of a play there. Earned himself a couple of free kicks with the high tackles, so not going too bad. He's kicked a single goal as well, so not too bad for him. He's doing all right. But as I said, I think Hawthorn are probably going at around 70-75%. They haven't really put much urgency into this game. I think they're just getting the job done a professional way. Easy way, I think they're going to do it well. Sydney game delayed to 8:30. Is that right, is it? Is that right? Oh, okay. It hasn't been updated yet. It's still 7:30 on the AFL app. Oh, okay, interesting. Oh, wow. Bombers 19, welcome in. Brandon Hamilton. Go Tigers. Yeah, we'll do the Tigers game today, so we'll see how they go. Maybe they can pull off a victory for the last game of the year. Jenny Juice, real mega love shout out. Welcome in. How are you, Jenny? Hopefully you're doing well. Just for the goal scorers, Nick Watson, George Wardle, Jack Ginnivan, Cashley Deer and Chol are the only goal scorers in the game. Of course, Jack Ginnivan was the first goal scorer of this match. Good to see you, Jenny. Hope you're doing well. All right, folks, we're going to head down to the ground. Players are set. Umpires are set. We're going to head down there for the bounce of the ball for the second quarter, where it's Hawthorn leading by 21 points. Let's go to the second quarter.
And then they're ones that actually, if you feel like you can run around at 80, 85%, which he would, and that's what he would have been asking the doc. I can still get around.
Into the second turn then. Quickly down to McDonald.
He's been a real fine, Colin McDonald, hasn't he?
Real purple patch in the middle of the season with goals. A little quieter of late, but still a huge part. Deep to Joel. Deere was able to fly at it as well. Scrambled ball, but not too far. Sicily took the Shields kick, and he's going back with the look that he can kick it this far.
Well, he can, and he's obviously all fine and uncontested target. He's having to think about it, but just that kick from McDonald, top of the goal square. Hawthorn, small forwards, a really good front and centre, and I don't think Zach Fisher and a couple of those boys aren't as comfortable defending that ground ball, and then a blast kick to an uncontested mark.
We've seen him go forward with effect. He has done that comfortably. What a weapon is the skipper. What a blast.
It's fantastic. I love the confidence. All about the body language for me. He knew he'd get the trip. He toyed with passing it, but no, been a worse spot, just out wide towards the boundary, still 40 metres kick, so he takes it on board.
Well, I think in these conditions, even with George Wardlaw sort of early in the quarter, and that's just a great setup. You've got your talls, your smalls are there, Shields who comes in as the wingman, D'Ambrosio's all the way with him to put some pressure on. Quick kick, and you've got your high defenders, or he might even be a deepest defender who's actually in position to gobble up whatever comes out the other way. You're probably more chance of scoring from that one than you are from the McDonald initial entry.
It's his 7th goal for the season. We've seen him go forward 4 or 5 times.
This big fella's got a bit of whack on the nose. It's blood nose day today, Tristan Cherry. William Shields caught one in the first quarter.
There will be blood.
And I wonder if in the finals, Sam Mitchell might have to swing a Sicily or a Hardwick forward, as we've seen during the season.
It's nice to have that.
Or maybe he'll just come off half-back and kick them. Nash. They're inside again. Under real stress, this North Melbourne defence. Dawson led with a fist. Gunston cleared a path for McDonald. There was 2 ready on the outside. McDonald tries to go it alone. Dawson, tremendous with his dedication there.
I wonder it's really dangerous. Oh, sorry, Bucks. I think it's really dangerous, those deep entries, and then the Hawthorn defenders, the high defenders, can get right up the ground, and they're all really good kicks.
Yeah.
So North under pressure have to bomb it back out. Makes them vulnerable.
She comes away with a flying kicks to the wing. The juggle from Scrimshaw.
Talking about doing the basic things well, McDonald was facing the opposite way when he picked the ball up. He had a couple of cracks at it, but I wonder if in the coaching review next week it'll be, hey, there was a player to feed back to. I would be surprised if there wasn't a Hawthorn player to feed back to find a better shot at goal than the one that McDonald took.
Newcomb's hand was important. Amon pounces and delivers again. Look at all the space for Ginnivan to lead into. The luxury of a juggle, and he'll have another set shot coming up.
You've got to be really wary. So teams playing against, obviously, North Melbourne today, but teams playing against Hawthorn will be really wary of their half-backers that get up on the back of stoppages. So we've seen Carl Amon start to do this regularly, and he's becoming a real attacking weapon. Just sits off the edge of the stoppage on the inside, especially with that left foot, and he's a dangerous weapon. Opens up the forward 50.
28 set shots before today for 11 goals, 11. Jack Ginnivan. He already has 1 under his belt. So the confidence is starting to build at the right time of the year for Jack Ginnivan. And Hawthorn's lead now. He's out to 34 points.
Yeah, great kick. Great finish in the wet. So the stoppage work, scoring side is very good. But you see that they've been using Amon in this attacking role, just right on the edge, especially when he's left foot in, Bucks. And it opens up the forward 50, doesn't it? It gives multiple options for the forwards to lead to.
Well, that 2 goals this quarter from the attacking mid. So Sicily with an intercept mark, and then Amon there with the rebound from a stoppage to the fat side kick. 5 of Hawthorn's 6 goals have come from that part of the field, 2 from turnover and 3 from stoppage. So they've been so damaging when they get the ball in that attacking mid, the front half of the field have been able to score. They've kicked 5 goals straight there out of that 6 goals, 5 from attacking mid score sources.
Newcomb via the ruckman, make to Warple again. It's just a scrambled ball. Holding and mark anyway.
So you're going to have to be really careful. So players playing on the likes of Impey and especially Amon, with their half forwards coming up into stoppage, you've got to know that your man can do some real damage off the back.
Well spread ahead from behind. You can see stalking with Scrimshaw. Davies Uniacke has to detour all the way back, and he's involved 2 or 3 Hawthorn players, and they scramble it forward from Ginnivan to Gunston. This is what they do. They just sweep through off half back. Gunston gets involved. There's an open 50. There's a long kick. Deer and Dawson. Deer didn't mark. Cool run around the ball, so it gave McDonald an entry through the front door rather than the side. We'll have a ball up.
Where Impey is there. He's 20 metres out from goal. He's half back. He just keeps following the play. They've got licence to run.
And possibly could have got the handball from Gunston, had a shot through the top of 50.
Tickle back there, a little nervous about what's around underneath. McKenzie, just batted back by Newcomb, cause kick wiped out straight away. Shields under serious assault from McDonald. Dawson with the scramble, it's touched. So Weddle hearing that news through Hardwick and plays it wide. Good protection of the ball from Morrison.
Just love the Hawthorn's balance. You need your intercept players and your players that are in layers to receive those kicks, where Weddle was there, where Sicily was 5 minutes ago, but you need pressure on ball as well. Newcomb puts a smother on. There's just so much pressure on the North Melbourne deep defenders that sometimes the only thing they can do is hack it out, and it goes to the advantage of Hawthorn again.
Sicily sneaking to the left, a little side eye for a short pass, but Morrison tries to take the shot. It's going to have to come back a long way from there. Morrison just back in the last couple of weeks. Selection tension around finals teams, and he'll be right on the edge, Harry Morrison.
He's playing half-back a little bit more today with McGuinness on that wing. And I like the selection of McGuinness, because if you keep him at least schooled up, I mean, when Will Day's fit, he comes back in. But if you keep McGuinness going, at least you give him a lot to come in as a potential tagger. It looks like it's gone over the top, doesn't it? How would we know?
Good luck.
Definitively. Soft calls are behind.
Harry Morrison in his 10th game for the season. Been the sub in 4 of those 9 games. It was a late inclusion a couple of weeks ago against the Blues.
You're right about McGuinness. So hypothetically, they could play the Bulldogs.
Review complete. Looking at these angles, we can see the ball crosses the line over the top of the behind post. Decision on the scoreboard.
Yeah, we've seen McGuinness with the sub a few times as well, so that's an option.
So that was definitive.
As long as you say it's definitive, Bucks.
Well, as long as you say it, definitive.
Correct.
Yeah.
So from a slow play, Stevens goes long. Full extension on the kick. Meek in front. Terry couldn't get around him. 15 games in 5 seasons at the Dockers. It's been just what Hawthorn needed. Deep again. Gunston had a run at it, but decides not to fly. Stays down just underneath. Scramble ball again. Meek, terrific for a big guy. Though he gave it straight up to Davies Uniacke, to the inside to Wardlaw, and now to Hansen. Initial double grab. Got it under his command. To half forward. This is promising. Pink with a snatch. Takes the mark. Inside 50. High ball. Zerha back with a flight. Fist came from Impey. This is Larky up against the line.
Great play. I mean, you were talking about that run back from Moore and Gunston. We showed it before the game. Yeah, Impey's a defender, so clearly he's going to get back to defend. His position, I mean, Zerha is Hardwick's matchup, but Impey's run to cover, and got that wherewithal to be able to compete in the air as much as on the ground.
Could see a way out. Back through D'Ambrosio. Pretty strongly in that opening term, and that's possession 9 for him.
What about John Newcomb? He looks rock hard and fit. Like, we know he's solid, but he's covering the ground as well as any player out there on the ground at the moment. He's just built as the year's gone on.
Mid-season draft poster boy. Famous number 3 at Hawthorn. A massive bonus he's been for them.
Shout out to his grandfather Benny. He'll be sitting at home watching. Helped fix my young bloke's yabby pump the other day. So he pumped the yabbies for his fishing.
What goes around comes around, doesn't it?
I'll tell you what, I know where he gets his size from. Young Jai, he gets it from his grandfather.
Meantime, Jerry kicks towards full forward. I'm sure you could go on with the story, Brownie.
Solid as a rock.
To Simpkin.
Well done.
Yeah, that is a real bonus for North. They needed some reward for their toil. Jai Simpkin able to deliver. They were overrun last week after an energetic start against the Bulldogs, and it is important, I think, from here that North just fight on as much as they can in this contest.
Absolutely, Hutto, and toil they have. I mean, I don't think it's been any lack of effort on their behalf. I think they've won enough contested ball around the ground. They're actually, they're -5 for the game in contested ball, but when they've won enough at the Pill, they've been able to sort of run with hands through the corridor, and this is a great example. Nice little handball there from Phillips to Simpkin and a one-step kick. They've been able to find that time and space in their forward 50, which Hawthorn have made it extremely difficult to do. But when you can get that stoppage and you can get a bit of ground ball there, you put the opposition under pressure.
It'll be interesting to watch their leadership positions over the next couple of years.
I think they'll be stable throughout the year. Obviously, Harry Shears, I think, eventually will become captain, but maybe just a year too early.
No risk on Sheasel today with his ankle issues. Being missed for sure. McGuinness, though, starting off half-back to Nash, to Warple. Had to wait for it to come, so there was pressure on the kick, and he turns it over. McDonald, the other captain.
Yeah, it's important that the club stay stable, even with their coaches.
Big year coming up for them next year, that's for sure. A couple of fists at it. Here's Weddle. 2 Roos tailing on, and here's McGuinness. Gets an opportunity to speed away. Gunston, depth on the kick again. Deere pressing off Dawson with one hand. Knocked away more. Was that high on Watson? To his feet. Didn't have time to argue. McDonald, the twist, the turn, and the snap is all perfect. One eye open was all he needed.
It's a tough decision for Callum Dawson there, Hutto, because he actually dropped his body. So you look at the replay coming through here. So Dawson doesn't know what he's going to do. So Watson charging down here. So he did make the tackle there or not?
He let him go.
He let him go.
He did the Olay.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that Watson, the position Watson had on McDonald, allowed Hawthorn to outnumber there at any eventuality, I suppose. And then Watson looked and dabbled with having the snap himself, but then ended up finding it to McDonald. But
so is that what you would advise the defenders to actually do? Not just withdraw the tackle?
Well, if you carry through with that tackle, you're going to give the free kick away. It's 15 metres out straight in front. That's a goal. So
it's still an interpretation, though. If the player has dipped to a certain level, the umpires are supposed to call play on, aren't they?
But it's like anything. Hit the contest with pace. Make the defenders make a decision. You're more likely to be able to draw the free kick. And Watson, Ginnivan, McDonald, they're all running around with pace and hitting the ball hard, which hard to defend.
Pressure on the defender, yes.
Simpkin read it beautifully. Back to Fisher. Kangaroos get a look. Not for long.
Like North haven't done a lot wrong, but Hawthorn have just ground their way to this lead. They're scoring well. Their consistency of pressure on the opposition has got them, this lead, and it's what makes opposition sort of struggle under this sort of consistent pressure.
Kick was as deep as possible, and again Watson, a step, a look, and another miss.
This is so damaging.
He's going to cause some problems. If they get some territory, he's going to cause some problems in September. Nick Watson, just from a matchup point of view.
It's so hard not to look ahead really quickly as to what they could do.
Yeah.
And Sam Mitchell talked during the week about discipline of thinking, of not thinking too far ahead yet. Well, we'll have a week to think about it now.
Well, there's no doubt a couple of weeks ago against the Giants, I think they did. They kept the Giants to 5 goals to three-quarter time. The Giants came out and kicked 7 goals in the last quarter and moved the ball end to end through Hawthorn, who looked like they came out of three-quarter time asleep. I've got no doubt they would have learnt something from that 5 or 10 minutes that gave a really good opposition to look in. So that was an important lesson I think they can take into the next couple of weeks and their prospects against the better teams in the comp.
Kick like that going to Cherry. A few sound effects thrown in.
What's he done?
It's like you when you hooked there into the trees in the golf course.
Just going to the reaction.
Don't know what you're talking about, Brandy.
Scott takes the mark at half
What
back.
was Newcombe so frustrated about? I think he might have popped a finger as well at the time.
Plays it wide. Weddle had early sight on that. He's had to play tall this year in defence, and the benefit of that, of course, is once he gets the footy. Scrimshaw had that cut finger last week. They decided he's okay to play, and he looks all right to me, and I'm sure to you as he's in full flight. Deep again, there's a bit of separation. And holding his go. Look at all the look on the players' faces.
I think
No one was
it's
sure.
McCutcheon Watson, is it? That was a little bit. That wasn't the primary contest. It was the secondary one. And when you buzz around as much as you do,
Sit there.
Not a lot in it, but he made him defend that, didn't he, by the turn?
AKA nothing in it.
Yeah,
Finn, take him right out.
We do say not a lot, don't we?
not a lot.
So, a mixed bag with one goal too. We've talked about and we've all seen his mixed fortunes in front of goal. If he kicked a bit straighter, he'd be right in the mix for the Rising Star this year. He's done so much right, and that's pretty fair. 2 goals, 2 for Nick Watson. And the Hawthorn lead is out to 41 points.
You have to admire the way that these small Hawthorn forwards are managed. You know, they don't play full game time. And look, to the letter of the law, it's there. But I suppose when you do hit the contest at pace, and when you are so damaging and dangerous, your defenders get nervous. You think, if I give this bloke half a metre, it's done. So that's what that constant movement does, and sharpness. Like when the ball's in their area, they're at full pace, and at full pace they're hard to defend. So they've been managed well, rotated, so they're always providing that energy in the front half. And they've got so many. They've got the depth of player in that role that can put the defenders under real pressure, and that's where you get opportunities like that.
Look at that, jumping up into fourth, depending on other results, of course. Davies Unac, clear path for him at least to see what was there. There was a couple of big guys deep, and the pace of Curtis streaming through, but he's missed. The interpretation on the Hawthorn small man's free kicks in the finals is going to be one of the storylines.
Huge. They'll ask questions of the opposition defenders, no question. And the umpires.
Yeah,
it's going to be a big one, because you can understand, they lower their body height, I guess. You can pay the free kick, but if they do it a long way, the umpire's got to be really close watching. I have no doubts they'll be coached on it, the umpires.
Impey, creative again, got it to the inside. Chance for McGuinness to connect with Gunston. Call for the boundary umpire, but I think it's been ticked off.
That's a good point. There's a potential to be a really polarising topic.
Plays it back to a one-on-one. It got over the head of McKenzie, but D'Ambrosio on the left, a little closer, couldn't miss from there, doesn't. And look at the joy. There's no joy in the North coach's box, but his old team, Hawthorn, just so many weapons. D'Ambrosio has been a wonderful surprise for Hawthorn fans this year.
And every element of their game is looking good, Hutto. So their ability to move the ball from one end of the ground to the other is as good as any team in the competition, Bucks. But then also their ability then to win the ball, or at least neutralise the ball in their front half and turn the ball back over and go at the opposition, is as good as anyone as well. So incredibly difficult on the opposition. Good finish there. We know they're supremely skilled all across the board.
That's their 7th goal of 9 through that attacking mid-zone. So they've just been so damaging. They've only scored 2 points from their forward 50 on turnovers. They've scored 1 goal, 1 from behind, or 2 goals but from behind centre. But 7 of their goals have come from that attacking mid area. So from the centre line here to their forward 50, to the forward 50 line, that part of the field they've absolutely dominated. They've gone back on turnout. They've scored from stoppage, and North Melbourne have been almost powerless to stop them.
They've kicked the last 3 goals.
Territory's a real problem now for North Melbourne, so they need to get some clearance win, especially. Oh, a bit of luck there, Sherry.
A bit to adjudicate between the big guys today.
It's actually been very good today, Lloyd Meek. There's been a bit undisciplined there. Tristan Sherry, he's had a fantastic year, but certainly I think Lloyd Meek's getting the better of him now, and he'd be showing some frustration there. Better be careful, the umpire standing right there.
Floats one towards Chol. McGuinness, right to the goal line. Been a tough day so far for Dylan Moore. Look at that for a standoff on the line, and eventually he falls over successfully.
12-3 inside 50s this quarter. The North Melbourne, they need to get obviously the ball into their front half, then lock it down there. It just every time, well, the only 3 times it's been in there, it bounces out straight away.
Hawks have kicked 8 of the last 9 goals. Dylan Moore just 2 disposals so far. With a watch from Tucker, crash into Morrison. Hanson to Wardlaw, but there's 2 Hawks straight away to provide the resistance. And they celebrate the tackles as well. Maybe not with the fancy after-goal celebrations, but you can see that those harder actions are rewarded as well. In the scramble, Tucker. Warple, he's already thinking about what he was going to do with the footy, and it fell onto his boot and gone out on the foot.
Outside with me, please, James. Out the foot.
Outside with me. Like that. Davies Uniac. Sounds like a teacher issuing the discipline, doesn't it? Outside with me. Oh, look at that kick. Invited the Hawks in, and Joel will pop it over to Gunston, and they can stroll in for another. A little too generous that time, the Kangaroos. And a massive gap is opening up, and it's opening up quickly. It's 53 points.
Yeah, another one of those front half turnover goals there. Just they're on their toes. Defensively, they're anticipating, they're ready to go. Look at their efficiency inside 50. 13 this quarter for 6 goals, 3. It's amazing. So it's been one of their strengths the last few weeks. They're so efficient. Every player is... We spoke about it pre-game. Every player is just committed to the defensive acts, whether that be from a structural point of view or whether the actually defensive acts there. Marvin Chol just being on his toes, ready to react.
It's a great sign, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
When the scoreboard's already pretty comfortable.
Yeah. Good habits. Need to continue all through this game.
How big can this result be for Hawthorn? What will their mindset be? Davies Uniac. They're inside at least the Kangaroos. Awkward for Larky. Tickle trying to tackle. Scrimshaw got the hands clear though. Just order Frost to Sicily. Just waiting at the rear, knowing how they could get out of defence. Eyes on the footy from McDonald. Takes the Marcus to go back behind. As the field spreads a little further. Some resistance ahead, but Sicily quick and long through the air. Watson was waiting expectantly. Handball to Nash. Time for a quick look. Gunston. Dawson just had to hold the ball, had carry.
Even when McDonald had a chance to go fast, but wasn't phased when that ball was knocked out of his hands. Just took the 2 or 3 seconds. It allows your forwards to lengthen and get away. And he knows. He already knows. I'm going to deliver this to a deep back who's going to be running up. And we've got 18 players in front of us to actually go to. They're very clear on what they're trying to achieve as a group.
Joey Montana showed some great vision of that throughout the week about the forwards lengthening inside 50 with you, Hutto, on first crack.
The empty nesters.
Yeah.
Scott. Skipping away for North. Out of reach of Tickle, only marginally. Frost, Davies Uniac. They're trying to dig in their midfield leaders. Simpkin.
Well done.
Courageous.
So fat side winger who's gone back to support his defence and then been able to come across and get involved aerially.
All the traits of an All-Australian winger, perhaps. Close to the line.
Definitely in the mix.
Sicily refuses to panic. He does give us plenty to get excited about with the torp. And Ginnivan, he read that so well. He knew what was next. And then on the move was Moore, who hasn't had a lot of room to manoeuvre today, but he gets away from Tucker. It was so hard to defend.
You've got to remember that this is the team that have lost, arguably their best player in Will Day last week. And we sort of wondered how they're going to go ahead. They've won 12 of 13 games with Will Day playing, and they've only won 1 of the 6 when he hasn't. So this is important for their confidence in that regard as much as any.
He's one of their stars, Dylan Moore. He wanted to be involved, and he has. He's hit the scoreboard. That's 11 goals, 8 to 2-2. And suddenly it is 60 points the difference. They've kicked 10 of the last 11 goals. And I do believe that... Oh, there's the talk. We love that. I do believe that Cameron Mooney has arrived.
Hello there, Anthony. Hello, gentlemen. Hello, everybody. Yes,
better late than never, Moons.
5-hour trip down to Launceston. I thought I'd get here for the second half, Buck. So looking forward to this one, mate. A little bit of drizzle down here, as you can see, guys. But beautiful day in Launceston. Where else would you rather be?
Moons, did you bring the Hawthorn banner, and are you going to put it up at half time so they can run through it?
Well, it's funny. I was on the flight with Big Monkey and Isaac Smith and all of those guys. So we all missed the start of the game, obviously. But we're all here now, Brownie, and looking forward to the second half. Now, let's hope North can turn it around and just give us something.
Who are you tipping in this one, Moons?
I think Hawks might just get out of line here, boys.
Terry. Stevens back to Terry again. There's a whistle for a throw, though. They can't take a trick at the moment.
D'Ambrosio's been excellent again, hasn't he? He's whether it's ball in hand, 11 touches this one.
Look at that. That was red hot, Bucks. Over the chest of Joel. You just can't ignore him.
Look, and he keeps going. So that was his 12th disposal. Leads all comers on the field. So there's such an even spread across Hawthorn, and even in North Melbourne. So Fisher's had 12, Cherry's had 12, McKercher 11, D'Ambrosio 12, Sicily, Newcomb, Ginnivan 11 each. But it's just been the effectiveness of D'Ambrosio's touches, whether behind the ball, intercept marking, through clearances, ball in hand going forward, kicked a goal himself. It's been a great game.
As we know, kicked 44 goals for the Gold Coast in one season. And that's 33. He might even get to that level by the end of the year, the way the Hawks are going. The domination is just about complete now in this game. It is a 66-point margin, and there is still 6 minutes to go in the second quarter, which has already produced 8 goals for.
Absolutely. This just shows a good example of the forwards lengthening, getting back inside 50. Joel playing the ruck there, gets out of the contest quickly. They're beautiful kicks going inside 50, whether it be just a straight kick like that or the cross-body. I think they're the best exponents, Bucks, of the cross-body kick in the competition. They've got 4 or 5 guys that are very good at that. Normally a very hard kick, but we love it as forwards because it wrong foots the defender.
Well, the thing back to the old Hawthorn team, they had them as well.
They did, didn't they?
Yeah, Guerra.
Left footers as well.
Exactly.
The multiple left footers, which wrong foot himself as well.
Yeah. But I think one thing the Hawthorn do extremely well, we've spoken about it, they get numbers forward of the ball. There's plenty of options for the ball carrier. So it's one thing to win the contest, to defend well, but if you've got the wherewithal to be able to transition and get forward the way Chol did then, you're a chance of being used.
Another ruck free kick, and allows Northwell. They were about to go forward. Ginnivan dedicated to the task, made the smother, back through McGuinness. Moore's got a bit of freedom now.
This is a great sign. So that smother there by Ginnivan. So that's an act of desperation, real commitment to the team ethos. So, you could be mistaken for thinking the scoreboard was tight, not 66 points up as they are late in the second quarter.
Holding, Hawthorn.
Another free kick in the rucks. There's a little sideshow between the two big guys.
It's been good, mate.
Hayne look on the North ruckman. Meek sends it deep. Here comes Deer. Just jumped a little bit too early. Pressure on the Fisher handball. Just scrapes it out to Stevens. Shows good balance. Got clear. Presence of Sicily. Might have caught one.
Incidental.
Tough day for Nick Larkey. Only 15 inside 50s, North Melbourne.
Larkey there. Sicily comes away. Interesting summation there with the soccer kick by Drury. Works all right for Pink. Off to Zerha. He had Larkey to the right. He's gone for goal. He's missed it by 2 or 3 squares.
Look at their efficiency, Hawthorn. 32 inside 50s for 12 goals, 8.
Yeah, it's
incredible, isn't it?
What are we at? 65% scoring. That's was a clip over the year.
It hurt. Yeah, cold day.
No whistle that time from the umpires. Impey just shoveled it back to D'Ambrosio. Really pistoned the handball back to give a bit of room. And the width created initially by Sicily, and then McKenzie. They get it up to the wing. Spoils. Good desperate stuff, wasn't it, from Tucker? His job is on Dylan Moore today, and he's restricted him pretty well.
It's a hard watch and listen if you're a North Melbourne fan. We are waxing lyrical about Hawthorn. It's hard to not be caught up in what they're doing, but I don't know if North aren't doing a lot wrong. It's just that Hawthorn are executing so well at the moment.
See how determined those North mids are to make a contest of it all. Hardwick, that was better pressure. It was outstanding. Tucker, they sneak it forward. Hansen to Zerha, had an option to his right. He thinks he can do it himself. He thinks he can. He was convinced, and he was right. Snaps a goal. Fairly moderate celebrations, which is reflective of the scoreboard at the moment, but they've kicked the second goal in this term.
I think Hanson Jr. again gets involved here. The times that he has been in the play, good things have happened for North. So I think there's little signs of progress, of the green shoots, I suppose, that we hear spoken about quite a bit. But the young players of North, there's some good young players coming through. He's a light frame player, probably will remain that way, but don't know what his tank's like. But I do know that his decision making and his ball in hand decisions and execution have been a positive for North Melbourne the first half.
Add another to that. Warple sends Hawthorn forward instead to half forward.
9-5 now, centre bounces in favour of Hawthorn. North need to lift in that part of the ground.
Just assaulted again there, McDonald. He had the backup required. Phillips to Simpkin. Back through the middle. Well read by Larky.
First touch from Larky.
It's an open 50. He just gives it plenty. Wasn't open for too long. Sicily on the job. Guarding with Weddle. He's taking off here. Let's see if he can get involved further up the field. We know that he's likely to keep running Weddle and provide further options for his teammates. Here's Nash. Weddle still running. Just a half a disposal behind all of this. Bypass by Davies Uniacke to Simpkin. D'Ambrosio to Warple. Turned at the right time. Well done, Curtis, though. Wins it back for North as they get down and dirty. Stevens for Simpkin. Ignore Drury. There's Zerhart giving up ground. Now they can go forward. Floating ball just kept on going, but Meek.
I think one of the things that we've witnessed throughout this first half is North, their inability to put, they're putting, the last 3 or 4 minutes we've actually seen them put some pressure on going the other way. So all of a sudden Hawthorn need to do some work defensively, and they haven't had to do that for the last 40 minutes. They've been able to just attack. So now the game balances out a little bit more because North have actually been able to find some field position.
Downfield free.
That doesn't help.
Watson topples over. Oh, watch out, McDonald. Evan was just a step away. That might be 50.
Tristan Cherry's been involved. 4 free kicks for, 3 free kicks against. Just keep the umpires busy today.
Core. Multiple roos, and one of them was Curtis. Nice collect in the air.
Pretty good year,
Yeah,
he's up around the 30-goal mark. He's a talent, no question about it. Actually, for a smaller guy, he can take a pretty good mark. Very good at ground level as well. It's one of the brighter spots for the shin boners going into next year.
Yeah, 29 goals, 20 coming in today. Already has one score. That was a behind. This one, he should be able to kick truly. Just eases it through. And the Kangaroos have collected a couple in a row. Which makes the balance sheet just look a little better. 54 points between.
Yeah, they've got to keep fighting. No question about that. So just able to keep the ball moving. We haven't really seen a hell of a lot of that. There's the incidental free kick downfield. But yeah, I like Curtis. He can do it. He can hurt you at ground level and in the air.
Yeah, so he's a nice size, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
We'll find out a little bit more about him when the forward supply evens up a little bit. I mean, it can be difficult in the North Melbourne forward line, but he's an opportunist forward. But to be able to kick 30 goals this year has been a pretty good return, given the difficulty that there would be playing in front of the ball for North. But
they're ranked 18th for inside 50 differential. You're right. So territory hasn't had a huge supply.
But as you develop, you sort of want to decrease the level from your best to your worst. And Curtis's best is very good. He just needs to continue improving his average games. And I'm sure that'll come along.
It's been a problem centre bounce today. So it's an area that North have got better talent. Yeah, a lot of free kicks. They've got good centre bounce talent, and they do a better job at the moment. Look at that 10-5 in favour of Hawthorn.
Defenders on guard now. Where's the danger? Davies Uniacke doesn't really clear the mess. McDonald, Warple, knew not to take possession. Newcomb shoots it out. This is Impey, a glance over the shoulder. Made the assessment on the run, always thinking Newcomb drives it in there. Ginnivan tries to get back onto it. Gunston, McDonald. They're all possibilities. A rush ball, Simpkin, sitting, waiting. Onto the left, he rolls. D'Ambrosio. It chalks up another score, but it's only a minor this time for the would-be All-Australian wingman.
That's right, yeah, we'll have to wait till Bucks won't tell us. Come on, give us something, Bucks. But even though the Wizards...
Tune in next Thursday.
Okay, yes, on Fox. Thanks, Bucks. Even the Wizards there, just the ability to get there and smother. It's a great application of defensive acts at the moment from Hawthorn. That, for me, has been a standout this second quarter. Obviously, with the scoreboard going the way it's going, you'd be forgiven for thinking the players, the Hawthorn players, are just going to switch off and probably focus on the offensive part of the game, but both elements have been very good.
Yeah, the scouting of Hawthorn, I reckon there'll be a number of teams in the finals who would have upped the ante on that over the last few weeks. It's hard to know what they can learn out of today. But there'll be things. Tucker tumbles, so too Simpkin. It's back over again. So halftime rings out around Launceston on a wet, damp day, but the Hawks really don't care. They don't care who they play. They don't care about the conditions. They play their way, and at the moment, it is as good as anyone in the competition. They have gone a long way to shoring up their place in September. 12-9-81 to 4-2-26. 55 points is the margin. The major prize, of course, will be later in September, but there's so many awards, individual and others, to be handed out next week, and you'll see it all on Fox Footy.
If they blew the whistle right now, he's All-Australian.
I think he's a great club player.
All right, halftime here at the footy, of course, Hawthorn, North Melbourne. It's all the Hawks, 12-9-81, leading North Melbourne 4-2-26. Of course, Hawthorn had a fantastic quarter then. They piled on 8 goals, 5. Can you believe it? What a fantastic quarter. North Melbourne putting on 3 goals, 1, so they got a little bit of reprieve there. So it was good to see North Melbourne getting a few goals in that quarter. Hawthorn do look very good though, folks. They're going about it workmanlike fashion, doing what they need to do, and still 55 points up at half time. What can the margin get out to? What can it really get out to? Can it blow out to 100? Can it get over that? Or will North Melbourne stem the tide? Will Hawthorn take the foot off the pedal in the remaining half of this game? Just under 18 minutes away, we'll have the bounce of the ball to the third quarter here. Let's go and have a little bit of a look at the stats now, see how they're piling up on the ground. Tell you what, she's a little bit gloomy, cloudy, a bit of a chilly day down there at the footy. 123 points, says Ryan. You could be right, Ryan. You could be right. Hawthorn are doing it very, very easy. Very, very easy, which is good. Zach Fisher leads the way. On 16 disposals. He's having a pretty good game there. For the Kangas, 11 kicks, 5 handballs, 3 marks. Ambrosio, best of the Hawks, with 16. As you can see, even though the Hawthorn is dominating well, there's no real standout on the possession getter. They're sharing the ball around very, very well. All team orientated is this Hawthorn outfit. And tell you what, they are going to be dangerous come the finals. This is probably one of the last teams you'd want to play in the finals. And you know what, folks? They're a sneaky chance to go all the way to the final day in September and hold that cup up at the end. That would not surprise me at all. James Sicily with 15. Always a statesman down back there for the Hawks, controlling the back line. He's had 15 touches. He snagged a goal. 12 kicks, 3 handballs, 4 marks. Tristan Xeri for the Kangaroos, not going too bad with 13, the big man. 18 hit outs, 6 clearances. Doing a good job there. Newcomb with 13. McKercher with 12. Jack Ginnivan, not too bad. I tell you what, he's playing a solid game today. Not doing a lot of shenanigans out there. Not playing the clown today. He's playing good, solid footy out there. Is Jack Ginnivan. A good team player out there today with 12 disposals. He's had six kicks, 6 handballs. He's had 2 marks and he's had a tackle. He snagged 2 goals. Still getting over your late night live stream. I did an hour. Well done. Yeah, I came to that, Ryan. I think the live stream I saw, it went for about 8 minutes. I had it on, but yeah, then it ended. But I was there on the first one, unless you did another one after that. Good stuff. There we go. Lloyd Meek on 10. Warple on 8. Nick Watson, I tell you what, Nick Watson, he's probably one of the most dangerous forwards in the competition at the moment. He is an absolute cracker for the Hawks. I tell you what, he's dangerous. He's got some speed, he's got some character, he's got some flair. He's dangerous, Nick Watson for the Hawks. He's had 8 touches, he's had 5 kicks, 3 handballs, 1 tackle, 1 mark, 1 clearance. From his 5 kicks, he's kicked 2 goals too, so he's dangerous when he gets the ball. I think it'd be a little bit difficult lining up on Watson also. He's, as I said, he's got a lot of pace to burn. Right, who else we got there? Let's keep going down. Impey was 7. Hanson Jr. was 7. McDonald was 6. Luke McDonald with 5. Liam Shield with 4. Let's keep going down the bottom there. Jackson Archer. I'm not 100% sure. I think Jackson Archer may have been subbed out of the game with possibly a bit of soft tissue there for North Melbourne. So that possibly is the end of his season for 2024. Let's go and have a look at the goal scorers now, since we've got a few goals there being kicked on the board. And we've got Nick Watson and Jack Ginnivan, the 2 guns for Hawthorn there, the 2 dangerous men. They're both kicked 2 each. Charles kicked a couple. He looks reasonably okay, although he's only had 3 disposals. He's had 2 kicks for 2 goals. You can't do much better than that. Zerha, Wardle, Simpkin, 1 each for the Roos, with Curtis, and of course for the Hawks, singles to Sicily, Moore, McDonald, Gunston, Deer, D'Ambrosia. All right, have a look at the AFL fantasy points. And the ones leading the way there, Ambrosia on 71, 067, Sicily 62, Ginnivan on 53, and the rest a little bit under that. Let's quickly go and have a look at the team stats. And you would think Hawthorn would be pretty well in front on most of these, as of course they've just been dominating the game so far. 174, 151, only 23. As I said, both teams are still getting a fair amount of the ball, but it's just the class and the talent of Hawthorn, pinpointing their targets, creating open space, getting off their player, and doing the job really, really well. Kicks pretty much level pegging there, 103.99. Handballs linking up a little bit better are the Hawks, 71.52 inside 50s, both getting their opportunity there. Hawthorn doing exceptionally well. Inside 50 for 34 times for 21 scoring shots. That's as good as it gets pretty much, folks. For North Melbourne, inside 50 20 times for just 6. So they'll be looking to improve on that a little bit. Disposal efficiency, well, both a little bit under their season average, but Hawthorn doing a fraction better there. As I said, not the best day. It looks a little bit of mist in the air down there at the ground, so there might be a little bit of slipperiness on the ball as the players trying to handle. Inside 50 efficiency, Hawthorn doing better there, as suggested, 58.8, and Hawthorn just slightly under their, North Melbourne slightly under their season average on 40. Free kicks, there we go, 14 to 12. Umps have been blowing the whistle a fair bit today, but all free kicks have been there from what we've seen. Hit-outs, Hawthorn by 2. As I said, North Melbourne doing a good job in that area as well. Clearances, Hawthorn doing a lot better in that area by 12, nearly doubling North Melbourne's clearances. 27 to 15 centre clearances. Hawks well and truly on top there. 10 to 5 stoppage clearances. Again, Hawthorn 7 to 10. Setting up well, getting the tap outs and getting that good run. Contested possessions, not too much difference there, 72-61. Uncontested, 99-78. Both getting plenty of it. Turnovers, North Melbourne, of course, plenty more turnovers, as Hawthorn are bringing the pressure. Definitely a lot more pressure than North Melbourne are bringing. That being said, folks, I think Hawthorn are probably still going at maybe 80%. That's probably about it. 80%, and they're still that far up. Hawks are playing like Richmond Tigers in 2017. You know, I was thinking that a little bit, Ryan. Actually, I was thinking that during that second quarter. I was thinking to myself, you know, Hawthorn could be one of the dominant sides for the next, 5 to 6 years in the competition. You know, they got young team. They're looking incredible, dangerous. They got the team game going down pat to perfection. They just look a good sight, exciting future. And I tell you what, you've got to be happy if you're a Hawthorn supporter at the moment, because you've got a few seasons ahead. They're going to be pretty exciting. Time in possession for the match, 47 to the Hawks, 35 to the Kangas. The marks pretty even there, 30-33. Marks inside 50. Hawthorn just finding their targets a little bit better there. Contested marks pretty similar, 4-3. Defensive tackles, Hawks doing a little bit better there, 30-25. So just a little bit above season average for the Hawks, a little bit below for North. Tackles inside 50, good to see both tackling inside 50 well for either side. All right, let me just run this back up. Let's just have a little bit of a look at the live ladder as we speak. And how's that percentage going now for Hawthorn? 111.8. We turn the live ladder on. Then Hawthorn 111.8. So they've picked up only 1.2%. So it takes a fair bit to grow that percentage. But, keep that going, Hawthorn. Keep your percentage going as big as possible, because you just never know. You just never know if these teams here, if the Cats, Lions and the Dogs lose and Carlton win by a bigger margin, they're only 2.3%. So that's pretty much, if Carlton win, they could actually leapfrog. But looking at that live ladder, the other game has started. Geelong must be leading in the other game. Let's have a look at the other game that's being played right at this moment. And of course, we are 14 minutes into the first quarter down at GMHBA Stadium, whereas Geelong taking on the West Coast Eagles, and it's Geelong 4-1, 25, leading the West Coast Eagles yet to score. So it could be a decent win down there for the Cats as well. So if that's the case down there for the Catters, and they end up winning, they will secure their spot in fourth and get the double chance. So what Hawthorn need to do now is grow their percentage and make sure they finish, fifth or sixth, and they'll get a home final, their first home final. Brisbane are the ones, if they end up finishing fifth, they'll get the home final, and then one of those teams will have to travel up there. But the good thing, I guess, for Hawthorn, Western Bulldogs and Carlton, I would presume their home final anyway would be at the MCG for those three teams. So it's only the one who plays Hawthorn, or Brisbane, I should say. So yeah, Hawthorn really want to keep that percentage up to make sure that they can bank a home final for the first week of the finals. All right, folks, I'll be back in just a few minutes. And as soon as the commentators come back on, we'll take you back down to the commentators, and they will then take us in to the third quarter here, where it's the Hawks by 55 points. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
See the early start, the conditions haven't worried you too much. Have you seen the first half?
Yeah, it was a bit of an interesting start. First 10 minutes was a bit of a tussle. We hit the scoreboard pretty quickly after that and been able to control most of the game.
Do you need to change anything in this second half, knowing, look, without being arrogant and rude, obviously all of those type of things, but do you change anything up?
We got a couple. They're running a couple of tags, so we'll try a couple of things with those guys and just try to keep playing the right way, make sure we're in good habits.
All right, Sam, thanks for your time, mate.
No worries, thanks.
Thoughts of Sam Mitchell just a few moments ago ahead of this third term, which is now underway.
Is that normally a 50 after the handball?
It's hard. Well, I think the 50 if the player tries to give the handball receipt back. But
Newcomb was going, well, he probably would have.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones that just gets paid randomly every now and then.
Doesn't it? Yeah, just to remind the players of the focus of the week.
Another touch here anyway.
Which doesn't exist.
Week to Newcomb. Behave yourself, Brownie. Opening seconds of the third term. 8 goals, 5. They kicked in the second. And he's been able to locate James Sicily, who's already given us one special long bomb.
I actually love this element of the modern game. You'll take an uncontested mark anywhere in the forward 50. It doesn't matter how wide it is anymore. If you can get that uncontested mark, you set up from behind. You've got time and space, or at least time, to be able to make your next decision and maybe finish.
No margin for error here. A 55-metre kick that starts outside the field of play and just the wrong side of the post. Only just that. He's an entertainer, James Sicily, isn't he?
It's great to watch. Yeah, sometimes you get the breeze there at that end. Just blow that back in. But he's fantastic and dangerous when he gets up in the front half. When his team's locking the ball in the front half, he can become an attacking weapon and can kick it over the top of the zone.
Kircher didn't quite hit it perfectly as you saw it spin through the air. Impey, challenged by Teakle, coming hard one way. Impey stays in the contest and prevails. D'Ambrosio gave it, wanting it back. Shields predicting such.
Yeah, how would Liam Shields be feeling his last half of football?
Snooze, Luke Bruce.
Yeah, Luke Bruce there, getting towards the end of his career as well. He's still been a fantastic contributor this year.
Just wake me up when you need me. 91 goals he's kicked at this ground, Luke Bruce. Played more games here than anyone else, 51.
That'd nearly be the most, wouldn't it?
Ruffy's kicked the most games. Ruffy's kicked the most goals, 102. Buddy, 100 exactly. Had one reasonably big day out here against North. Bruce with 91 and Gunston 58.
How many times have D'Ambrosio been tagged this year? So he's got Liam Shields on him.
It was pretty hard to tag someone on the wing. You can, and it has happened, and it is happening. But
you give up at
that was a decent corky that Connor just copped there. Well than the ITB. Thanks for coming.
That's 50. He's gone over the mark there. Maybe he didn't know exactly where it was. Poor old Connor Nash. At least he's got a week before the finals.
Yeah. Newcomb again. He's going to have another shot on goal. There's no concerns about the Samsons with him since having his haircut. He's kept his strength and keeps going from strength to strength, doesn't he? Jeez, he looks so different when he went the chop.
Van Kenneman, didn't they? Samsons. He's shaping up to go just around the corner. Feels like he's got it all under control. It's a wet, heavy ball. Not going to stop that going through. Picked up where they left off. What's the goal umpire worried about here?
That's the all clear.
That's the all clear.
He's been so strong. Coming into the competition, talking about being a naturally big-bodied player. It's that's a beauty.
I think it gives you great confidence as a coach, Bucks, like going into September, and obviously you've been there many times, that having those big contested midfielders in there, which they've got Hawthorn, that stands you in good stead, because we know finals are so much about contest, especially in the trenches. So Newcomb, Warple, Nash.
Nash is, Nash and Newcomb is the big bodies in there. And then you've got Warple pound for pound. Will Day, when he comes back into that mix, assuming that he does, is going to make a difference. So I think McKenzie's added a little bit to the mix as well.
Two-time runner-up in the Peter Crimmins medal as John Newcomb All-Australian squad last year. Started a little slow this year, but geez, they're so strong. Zerha. He put one through already. He's angled that very wide.
I would like to have seen, so James Sicily late, was it late in the second quarter, he just went straight over the top, 55-metre bomb. Zerha's got that capability. But Sicily wanted it straight away with his body language. He said, he owned it. No, I'm going back to kick this goal. I think Zerha should have done that.
Connor Nash finally came off Hutto, and I'm just waiting to see if he's going to come back on or not.
Clean take from me. The kick, though, came bouncing back unexpectedly. Hanson with an opportunity, which he almost seizes.
Yeah, no, he'd be kicking himself, Robert. He would have kicked that 9 times out of 10, or maybe 99 out of 100, but you don't get them back.
4 goals, 1 in 7 games coming in. There's shouldn't laugh.
There's a coaching decision that needs to be made here. Okay, do we want Connor to push through this? You know, you're going to miss 2 weeks of footy on the other side before you play again. So do you push through it, or do you make the call?
You wouldn't bother, Buster, would you? You wouldn't bother.
Not if it's corky and it bleeds, man.
You just don't want to cop another one again. After. We've all copped that a second one. It's just too much.
I don't think Connor would want to, but maybe Sam makes him.
Bruce, as we saw, not exactly ready to come on because you have to wake him up first, but he's available. And tussle in the ruck continues. Nifty hands from Simpkin to Wardlaw. Breaks clear, kicks it again extremely wide. Away from Teakle and Scrimshaw. No one who had the main locked off during the season. Brent Teakle.
You're also probably weighing up game time. If you make that sub now and you do get another injury, then you've got 21 players rotating so you go for a little bit longer. And look, you've got that pre-finals bye, which helps. But all those little decisions you want to get right.
Meek with the tap, the connection in up with Warple. Phillips all over Meek, and so too Toby Pink.
You look so far ahead to think, there's potential you play on a Thursday night, so you don't have the full 2 weeks preparation.
Harry Shees will make the trip down to Launceston today, despite not being available for selection with that ankle injury. Powell fires it out. Stevens can't collect. Wardlaw can, but look at the Hawthorn players just clamouring all over him. There was 4. Every angle covered they had. Stevens just to frisk it out towards McKercher, but again, there's a dumping tackle from Tucker and Moore. It was tunnelled out the back towards the boundary.
They've had more tackles. Hawthorn have had more tackles than North Melbourne, so I think we were spoken about a fair bit in the first half. Their application of the defensive acts been impressive. Very encouraging for Sam Mitchell, where his players' heads are at. Tommy Powell's had a pretty good year, one of the young up-and-coming midfielders from North.
Hi, North Melbourne!
Both ruckmen have taken it in turns to be exasperated. This would be his 9th clearance of the day, Cherry. 9 out of 19 for North. Up along the wing, he strikes the kick. Pink came to it early. Denied in the air by Weddle. Stevens collected it, but getting rid of it was another thing entirely. McGuinness summed it up pretty well, given he had look at the 4 North players. They all went their separate ways and weren't quite in sync. The Hawks are able to win it. Now, just about to make the escape was Ginnivan. Wardlaw instead. Davies Uniac couldn't quite keep his balance. McKenzie in there, deep again. Chol, there's some separation. Core, fine hands to McDonald. Scott gave him a way out. He's got Zerha on the inside, but had to get the ball under control, which proved problematic.
Well, Nash is doing some run-throughs at the moment, guys. He's at that quad and that leg heavily taped at the moment, so it looks like he's going to give it a go.
Moons.
He might only need to get another 10 or 15 minutes, maybe a rotation or 2 in before the coaches are comfortable making that call.
Smart work again. D'Ambrosio comes away, places it. Ginnivan knew that he couldn't mark. Kept it dangerous though. Deer.
And it's not about winning the game. It's just about, as Sam Mitchell said, we want to get into good habits. He spoke about playing the game that we want to play, and you want to coach the game the way you want to coach it as well. You don't want to be making decisions that you might not normally make.
So clever from Warple. Deer Dawson stuck to the task. Whistle, which could have potentially been paid his way. They've scrambled it. Sat for a while. Insufficient, I'm afraid, for North fans. Ambrosio in the right place. His 19th disposal coming up.
Wing's a good role to get free kicks for that.
It is, isn't it?
Insufficient intent.
Short to McKenzie. He continues to build his CV. And he fell out a couple of times this year, but part of the future for Hawthorn. It's the now, though, that everyone's concerned about. Brigade of talented youngsters. McKenzie again with the up and under to the square. Meek and Cherry find a different location to fight it out. That time on a forward entry.
A rare no free kick contest.
Yes, that's right. We're all waiting, weren't we?
He's a big man, Lloyd Meek. He's done extremely well coming across from Fremantle. Down the depth chart there, but Hawthorn, their stock picking has been excellent. He's come in, he's had a profound impact in his role as a big combative ruckman.
Kicked a couple of goals last time he was here against Freo, against his old team. McKercher with the scramble. Sicily has a quick look over his shoulder. The ball has a mind of its own. Pink keeps it in. Zerha to Larky. He's fair to say he's a fair way from home.
Tried not to kick it to his direct opponent. Sam Foster dropped off really well there, just getting that extra number, that depth and that layer in defence. He comes from work rate and he kind of gnashes. Is he going to go in the middle? Is he going to go...
Do you give it a wide berth for this first contest, Bucks?
I think, well, would you, Moons?
No, but you don't want to cop one right there.
Correct. Yeah, maybe you're going left foot into the contest for the next couple. Is that another free kick?
No, it's to Nash. Sorry, I thought it was going to be to the ruckman again, but
there we go.
It was to a neighbour. Nash into the middle. He's opening up again. Aim on. Just waiting the kick for the run from behind from Hardwick. Impey with issuing the directions ahead. Hanson keeps him honest. Hardwick, who's played 60% of the season back in defence.
Early in the season he went forward, didn't he? And against Collingwood?
Collingwood, yeah.
4.5.
4.25.
4.25, yeah.
Challenging kick again was some interference from Phillips on Newcomb. No, it's a throw. Blues fans still, Hawks fans still have the energy to boo that decision. Now it's 50. Confusion reigns.
Look at me, I'm pointing there and I'm saying back to him. Keep going, mate. Jump out.
Another 50 if you're not careful.
Will Phillips,
jump out.
Beneficiary of all of that. Back in the team today. He's been in and out again through the season.
Yeah, tagging role for a lot of the year when he's been in the seniors.
Little pop-up kick for Simpkin.
Keep an eye on, he wasn't Warple there early, and he's just following John Newcomb now while Warple's on the bench.
8 goals, 4 for the season. The co-captain of the Kangaroos.
The season started poorly, didn't it? That concussion early in the pre-season, last game leading in, but he's built as his season's progressed.
Hasn't quite been able to find his best footy. That saw him win dual best and fairest in 20 and 21, but with kicks like that, it'll come back.
It's going to be important though, his leadership going into next year and beyond. Got a lot of younger players. One of the youngest teams in the comp, of course, but it's got some fantastic young mids, which obviously he's in that area of the ground. So let's just have a look. So it took too long asking who he's supposed to throw the ball. It was pretty clear who it had to go back to. So a bit of time wasting there. The umpire wasn't putting up with that. Yeah, so it'll be important, along with Luke McDonald, just that guidance. You can't have all young fellas there.
The decisions in the off-season will be destructive in regards to where they think their locker room leadership is. Do you just thicken the soup, or do you need someone that comes in that's a really high-level leader, preparer, the ability to inspire and drive the troops from the locker room out?
Joel deep out of the ruck, well played by the experienced core.
It feels like that's an area they'll build on. Clarko's comments a couple of weeks ago.
Speak about it, didn't he?
Lucky to go right up the ground.
Well, you lose Liam Shields, who is a quieter, leader, but definitely someone who has has had positive influence everywhere he's gone.
Good reaction to a difficult situation from Fisher through McKercher back. It goes to Core in the end. Drury was on the move. He was well placed, wasn't he? The ball came his way, which it does, and he delivers into the 50. It got away from Scott. Hardwick backed his own strength and now around the footy. McGuinness tries to protect it. Wardlaw turns the tables, and it's out again.
He swept the leg there, Wardlaw. He did really well to get back front posse. And this is the thing, like, you've still got a quarter and a half to go. You're not immune. You're not immune to being injured, to being hurt. Like, this is a game of footy. There's plenty of things that can happen. So you can't afford to take your foot off the accelerator 1 inch, because as soon as you're going at 90%, that's where you get hurt. So they've got to play this game out with great intent.
Phillips buffeted and worked off the footy in the end from Nash and Newcomb, and now Weddle's on the fly. There's not much better and more exciting sights in footy than Weddle. He's had two. And then it just drips off the boot.
No, he just got it too.
What a letdown. Deer, it's play on, which makes him vulnerable. Has to be careful, though, the Kangaroos around him not to overplay their hand, and they don't.
I was preparing. That would have been as exciting a call as 13. He was just warming up, Hutto.
It's the right number. 23 on his back.
That's right. He's exciting to watch, though, when he gets the ball. He goes on those runs.
Watson had his claims. McDonald. Deer to the voice of Watson. Which way will he dart? To the left. To Nash, who just having enough strength in that leg to pass it back to D'Ambrosio. Arching the back, that's Morrison. Here's Nash again.
Just keeping an eye on Weddle. He still hasn't found himself back behind the ball after that run.
We know they're a bit of showtime.
He's in the ruck. He's in the ruck.
Maybe in the last quarter we might see them really unleashed.
Well, I mean, have a look at, like so you've got Meek there who plays 80% game time. Then you've got Chol and Weddle and Nash who can be ruckman and have been ruckman in the past. So it's important to give them a look at all of those positions, given what's going to be, the eventualities they might find themselves in.
Phillips does well to prevail that time. McKercher tried to get a bit fancy and inventive off the boot, but just hit the wrong part of the foot. It's like Brewster's.
I wonder if it's for Nash or for another.
Well, Nash is the one that's just starting to run off now, guys, so we're going to assume it's Connor.
Yeah. He's still got a bit of a hobble up.
Like you said, Bucks, I think he gave him that extra 10 minutes.
Yeah, just to give him a crack, because you're going to have to work through discomfort, but also to chew up a little bit more time for the team.
Set up with a kick. Whole clump of Kangaroos. McKercher continues to amass possessions. That's number 17 for him.
Yeah, just to confirm, Hutto, it is Connor Nash.
Aki Moons. Scott skims one back to the wing. Hardwick the flyer. Pink releases. Shields searching with his eyes and then follows through with the kick to Drury. Tries to provide the calm. Just swings it out for Stevens. Larky. Slim pickings for him today. He's had to come right up the ground to get involved.
Yeah, they're throwing him in the ruck just to have a run around. Try and get him involved for that reason. I think it's obviously been pretty dry spell down there. Only 24 inside 50s for North Melbourne. Had to get involved in the game. Unfortunately for Larky, he just hasn't been able to touch it much. 4 disposals.
Remember last year he finished the season with, I think, 20 goals in his last 3 games. Got to 71 goals North through that upset win in the last round against the Suns.
How many kicked that? Was it 9 in the last round? 7 or 9, I think he kicked,
28 to 33. Little rucking, as we said, to Amon. Slightly dislodged, but got towards the boundary line. D'Ambrosio stepped over with the footy.
Take that.
Fisher.
Well done.
Yep. Good defensive traits as well from the winger.
Yeah, it's important they play it out, and for North as well. In 39 minutes' time, the season's done. So you've got to take these opportunities. There's still a lot of gratitude for being able to play the game, and I'm really confident that North Melbourne would want to finish this strongly for their pride.
Well, last year these two teams were 16th and 17th. And look how far Hawthorn have gone. Brewster's on the ground, and Weddle again is on the move. The goals are there, but so are his teammates. Chance to share it with Dia. No sense of panic at all from the young man. He knew how to get it done.
I think Nick Larkey wouldn't have enjoyed seeing that. He's actually trying to come off for a breather. He was in that ruck contest, and Weddle just went. And by the time he received the handball from Bruce, he was 30 metres goal side of his direct opponent at the time. And that's the advantage of being able to flip this ruck roll around. At this point, Nick Larkey's right out the back. You can see him just come into screen there on the wing. So that's 40 metres goal side with your direct opponent. That's what Hawthorn they do to their opposition as high forwards, deep forwards, wingers when they get the ball. Even high backs and rucks, midfielders that are actually charging forward of the contest. And they do it all day, and that's the thing. They've got obviously supreme confidence in their plan, but also in their fitness to be able to execute it.
I think Watson we saw us getting some attention on the bench. We'll get back to as Warple. Simpkin continue to scrap on. Stevens, it's getting closer to the Hawthorn goal than Ginnivan. Prepared to go back through the traffic. Warple, he heard the call from Newcomb. Great combination. And McDonald has shown regularly he knows exactly how to finish. And he shows us again.
Yeah, he doesn't need an invitation of a shot at goal, I don't think. Connor McDonald, he's the quintessential small forward. He does the work up the field and back, and he's happy to share it and have his teammates get the benefit of his work. But he doesn't mind when he gets 3 or 4 metres of space and a step to be able to put the ball across the vert. He'll finish.
He complements those real small forwards, doesn't he?
Yep.
Look at Watson, Moore, Bruce, Ginnivan. He's just that little bit taller. Watson, there's that injury.
Here, I think.
Yeah.
There might be a corky on the front of his right quad as well. Seems always the way. Just after you make the sub, someone else gets injured.
Yeah.
Or tried to make his move.
Was that always the big worry, Bucks, when you were doing it?
It's the bane of the sub.
So Simpkin, all ahead of him here. The Hawks have got back to frame up the defence. Deep on the kick, well from the side. Ended up contesting with his teammate more than anything in the air. Zerha, sneaky little hands. Phillips was good enough to get it further, roughly in the direction of a teammate. Meek is just absorbing all the pressure. And Cherry doesn't miss the chance to get in and just give him another bit of a shove and a bruise if he can. The Wizards on the phone.
Leader. Separate, boys.
Free kick for Melbourne. Got to hold the meter. Stand.
Wow. I've seen it all.
It's been a sideshow, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
The main event.
Cherry to the goal square. Gusto, this ball made by Weddle. There's Morrison. Opposition provided by Shields. And it's over.
It was pretty clear, and Lloyd wasn't listening. 1 metre.
You listening, Lloyd?
Yeah. He's still talking about it now. Yeah, there you go. 3 metres. They've gone to town on each other, these two, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's been a good contest.
Whacking away.
Well, they would be, what, Kieran Briggs? They'd be 2 or 3 of the bigger bodies.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
In the ruck. I mean, Oscar
McInerney as well.
Big man.
Yeah.
Davies Uniac barreling off the chest of Scrimshaw. Everyone wants to be the umpire now.
Hold the meter.
Back in the goal square, the North, Terry rucking, palming and hoping. Davies Uniac scouring down at ground level to try and win the footy. McKenzie did that. Questions are asked about his disposal. Watson's back on his feet. He's testing things out. Wrapping around the calf.
Yeah, you can see it's that lower left leg there, Hutto. That's where he became hobbling off just before Hawthorn's last goal. So he seems to be okay.
Lloyd's fallen over. That's not ideal. Amon helps him out. It's a touch, so everyone lets it bounce to see what's next. What is next? It's a soccer from Morrison. The skates are on through the middle. Here's McDonald, the cut and thrust of it all. Back to the 50. Frost, maybe Frosty could give us something in the last quarter. McDonald playing it back, but now it's all about going forward for Newcomb.
That's the second one.
William Shearer just give him one after he'd offloaded the ball.
It's just that quick kick that came off the ground and McDonald was there as the +1. It's one of the few times that Hawthorn haven't had even numbers in front of the ball.
Briefly they were teammates at Hawthorn. Here's Newcomb through the middle again. It's play on. McDonald got rid of his opponent. Moore was ready to pounce on McKercher, which he does. Gunston's looking for one now. His body's going everywhere. It's not easy unless you're Connor McDonald. Then it's just like picking low-hanging fruit.
Second for the quarter. As Bucks have spoken about, they just run in waves. They all join in. Starts from the half-backers, midfielders. The forwards are obviously able to come up and support defensively, then turn around and charge back inside 50. Get representation. Equal numbers there in their forward 50. Great pressure there. They've been able to apply that all day to North Melbourne. The pressure is so good they've actually had the same amount of tackles, even though they're dominating on the scoreboard. That's second goal for McDonald, who's just building.
It's his third, actually. Second of the quarter.
Second of the quarter, sorry.
Third time that he's kicked 3 goals or more in his career. And, when you can hit the scoreboard like this, you do start to elevate your contribution to the team.
He's 26 in the 2021 draft.
Yeah, look, he's coming along really well, and he's been a part of this. This was resurgence, I suppose, from Hawthorn. But the back half of his year's been excellent.
It's just the clearance, the domination around clearance today. 41-22 in favour of the Hawks.
Whistle goes against Watson that time. Deep kick from Fisher. Opportunity for Jury. He too wanted a free kick. Come again. Davies Uniacke just placing it out wide. There's Pink versus Sicily. Tries to keep it bubbling. Awkward for Zerha. Impey cops it. Cherry saw as well. Gunston has the footy.
Gunston back on McDonald, trying to make him accountable, not let him set up as that extra behind the ball. It's just there's certain roles in good teams that you need to fill. It's just the way what the modern game asks you to look after if you want to unpack an opposition tactic.
The little man got big for a while, Watson. He still found the footy after all of that. Off to Morrison with ease. On the bounce, you can see what Dylan Moore had in mind.
Stephen Childs 30 metres forward of Aiden Core there with the next contest, and it was never going to get there, but the Hawthorn forwards always looking to leak goal side of their direct opponents and ask a question, and the midfield and high backs need to stand up defensively for them to be able to do that.
There they go again. Split the difference. Clever from Morrison, although went to Simpkin and out to Davies Uniacke. Kept them guessing with his dance steps. Back to the wing, Sicily and Pink, who has the watching brief for now. If there is defensive roles, you think it'll be on Sicily, or would they even think of trying to restrict and constrict Scrimshaw, perhaps?
I think Sicily's the most dangerous from an aerial point of view. I think Scrimshaw can take an intercept mark, and he's just a magnificent kick.
He's reminded us of that today.
Yeah, he has.
Watson again trying to create havoc. Deep on the kick, well defended. Deer with Dawson. Shields. Back to Dawson again. Chance to rack up some more late possessions. Wading his way through there, McDonald. Honors the lead of Curtis.
Sicily's the most damaging intercept marker, but
he's also an energiser, Bucks. Like what he does out there, his presence, he can really lift his teammates.
Sky ball whacked away by Frost. It wasn't easy. Davies Uniacke, Zerha. You've got to be aware. He did well, really, to ride out the more tackle. Tucker gets it deep. Pink gets an opportunity to hit the scoreboard.
I find him a fascinating player, Sicily. Like, if you watch him off ball, he doesn't run that hard. He floats into position here, he floats into position there, but he uses the ball so well, and he's an elite mark.
He edges around, open up the angle, and pops through the Kangaroos' 6th goal of what's been a tough day.
So Pink has been his matchup all day, and that has been an element of trying to keep Sicily accountable, trying to blunt his strengths in some shape or form. But I mean, it's very hard to do when the weight of flow has been going Hawthorn's way. I mean, Sicily's had 17 touches, 13 kicks and 4 handballs. You know, he's only taken the 1 contested mark, 4 other marks. So you'd say that, you know, he's had an average to good game. But, you know, Toby Pink's had a couple of shots on goal. Missed that first one. There was a snap around the corner from the same pocket, but was able to finish the second.
Yeah, Sicily restricted by Jacob Bauer last week to 15 disposals and 4 intercepts. This is the only reason I asked the question, is because Sicily had been restricted at times, but I suspect we're going to see some sort of different tactics on Hawthorn. There's Scrimshaw.
There's the other one. Well, it seems like there's been a greater focus from opposition teams all across the league this year, just putting work into those interceptors. So with Tom Stewart.
In and out from Powell to Simpkin to Scott. So far, so good. Good contest in the air from Curtis. Insurance at the back from Impey, was on the back pedal, but finds a little way forward. Narrow as the laneway was. Collected by McGuinness. Back to Warple, and then to McGuinness, and then the fumble. And then the boundary line with Scott.
Harris Andrews, another one that put a focus into. You can also use your advantage as a forward group. We've seen how much of a focus it has been for the GWS Giants, and getting Jesse Hogan onto the right matchup and challenging the opposition intercept defenders. No doubt they'll spend a fair bit of time opposition coach on James Sicily leading into the finals.
Another clearance from the big guy, Terry. It's 10th of the day. Wouldn't you know it?
Right on cue.
Being 50.
But see, it's the combined effort. Frost has been really good on the opposition's, you know, strike forward. So he's been a lock and been consistent. Scrimshaw and Weddle are those running players that cover a bit of ground. And then you've got Sicily as well. So their back four is really established.
There's 2 charging after Wardlaw, but he got it back to Cherry to full forward. This is one of Larky's best opportunities. Doesn't come to pass. Scrimshaw gave it, wanted it back. McKenzie tried to reroute and ran into a dead end very quickly.
Oh, it's hard with 2 experience. So they're actually very stable back 6 or back 7, let's call it. And you often think, you know, it's going to be tough for them to win a premiership this year from outside the top 4. And
that is going to be a serious discussion, isn't it?
It is.
Leading into the finals.
And also the fact that this group hasn't experienced finals together. I know some of the players have, but this group essentially.
Just a handful.
Just a handful. So, but to win a flag, you need a stable back 6.
This is for a 3rd goal for Jai Simpkin. He'll be flat with that.
And it's been really stable, settled, and it is relatively experienced. It's probably their most experienced part of the ground.
This is that kick out that we've seen with a lengthening player. They've set up the rest of the ground. It's winning that
trouble.
contest, and then they're out.
Weddle. Watson. Deer reaching for it. Watson still alive and dangerous. On the edge of the pack.
Look at how many Hawthorn players have been able to get to where that ball's ended up. That's what we're talking about with the efficiency of the system, what the plan is, and then the players buy in. They know exactly where that ball needs to go, and they're just all working to the point.
We showed in the pre-game, like, kick-ins are not normally a big source of scoring, but you want to be really careful against Hawthorn. They set up with Weddle especially will be involved somewhere. Sometimes they send all their players to one side, and Weddle and maybe one other teammate to the opposite, and they go to that side.
Nick pokes it down. You can cop some opposition. Quick kick, Davies Uniac. Hanson wriggled free. There's a bit of holding.
I wonder if Colin McDonald's actually gone to half back. I mean, he was the target for that kick. It's generally a defender that's running away. Found himself on Hanson Jr. there. So whether it's on the wing or half back, they might be looking at a few different positions to just to keep guys sharp and understanding different roles if they need to shift some magnets.
Straight ahead from Zerha, doesn't quite reach Larky.
Just a little check up down here on Warple, Hutto. This is the problem now for Hawthorn. A couple of guys have now come off limping, with Warple just coming off as well. He was in the hands of the doctors, but seems to be okay. But you just don't need those injuries, Bucks.
No, they want the game to finish pretty quickly.
Jerry with a handoff. Shields his kick. This is not happening for Nick Larky. Frosty bangs it back to Watson, who kicks it as quick as he can, but the siren has beaten them. Not much has beaten them today. The lead continues to grow. It was a tighter third quarter, 4 goals, 1 to 2-2. But the margin is 66 points as it stands. It's going to be a huge Sunday of footy. And after it all
right, there we go. 3/4 time here, folks. And Hawthorn doing it quite comfortably, in control in every aspect of this match. 16-10, 106. 11 goal leaders over North Melbourne. 6-4-40. We'll have a little bit of a look at the stats in just a second. Here we go. Let's have a look at the players' stats. And of course, we'll see where the Warlord is, if he's picked up any more stats so far. But it's Ambrosio for Hawthorn leading the way on 24. As I stated earlier at half-time, there's no big ball getters. Really, Hawthorn, they're sharing the ball around like a great team does. No real standouts. 24 for Ambrosio, 13 kicks, 11 handballs, 4 marks, 2 tackles, 4 clearances, 1 goal, 1. He's having a good game there. Xiri for North Melbourne, 22 was Simpkin, 22 also. Doing a good job there. Jai Newcomb on 21. As we just rolled down, James Sicily's having a great game there for the Hawks. It looks like he's enjoying his footy. And with the fun, he's also kicked a goal. There we go. There we go. George Wardlaw, he's up to 15 touches now. Just the 4... Where is he? Where is he? There he is. Just the 4 kicks. 11 handballs, 1 mark, 5 tackles, and he's kicked 1 goal. So there we go. There are the stats for the Wardlaw. Right there. We just roll down a little bit more just in case you're wanting to have a look. Ginnivan there, a little bit of a slower third quarter there for Ginnivan. I'm sure he'll come out and do his role in the fourth quarter. Just the 14 touches for him. And pretty good day. 7 and 7. A couple of goals for him. Nicky Watson. Tell you what, he's a bit of a gun, this guy. 12 touches, 2 goals, 2 he's kicked from his 7 kicks. Let's keep rolling down. For your stats, so we look for Jack Gunston there. He's had 9 possessions. He's kicked 1 goal, 1 off his 7 kicks. Liam Shields there just with the 8 touches. Sam Frost was 7. There's the name, Toby Pink. There we go. 5 disposals, 3 kicks, 1 goal, 1 there for the Kangas. Dylan Moore just with the 4 touches. Nick Larky's had a quiet game there for the Kangaroos. Hasn't been able to really get much opportunity. Just the 4 kicks. No handballs. He's had 3 marks, so with a tackle and 3 hit-outs. No score there for Nick Larky. Let's go up and have a look at the goal scorers. There we go. Connor McDonald leads away with 3 for the Hawks. Nicky Watson there with 2. Jai Simpkin with 2 for the Kangas. Ginnivan and Deer and Chol also multiple goal scorers with 2. Zerha, Wardle, Sicily, Pink, Newcomb, Moore, Gunston, D'Ambrosia and Curtis all single goal scorers for the game. The AFL fantasy points, no one's on 100 yet. Jai Simpkin leads away with 97. And Xiri with 91, with Ambrosia 91, Sicily on 80, and all the rest under there. All right, let me head back over to, what have we got, a couple of minutes there. Miss you there we go. 2 minutes, so we don't want to miss the bounce of the final quarter. Toby Fishing and Outdoors, how you going? I love it when Collingwood choke. Yeah, I tell you what, probably the game they did choke in was the Sydney game. They did let Sydney come back in that final quarter where they had most of the play. Let's just have a look at the live ladder as it stands. Of course, that would have put the Magpies up to 56. They would have been in the top 8 if they had won that game. But of course, Western Bulldogs and Carlton are still there to play. Nikki Young, she's hoping that Carlton have a victory today, or tomorrow I should say, and that'll secure them a berth in the top 4, or should say the top 8. My gosh, I'm confusing myself, aren't I? All right, so with Hawthorn going on to win this game, we've got Western Bulldogs and Carlton to see who is going to round out the top 8. If they both win, the 8 is final, but if one of those lose, then Fremantle tomorrow, the last game of the home and away season, that'll be their chance to beat Port Adelaide and jump into the top 8. So they will know, Fremantle will know their fate before they play the game, so that'll be interesting. That will be interesting. Just in the other game played at the moment, 22-minute mark of the second quarter, down at the Cattery, it's Geelong, 14 goals, 690, leading West Coast Eagles 1-8. 90-8, and it's not even half time. Wow, so there we go. So that is why Geelong pressing to jump that ladder. So can you believe it? They're only now 2% behind Port Adelaide on the ladder. You have a look at what 107.7. So they've made nearly 5%, 4.5% Geelong. So they're only 2% behind Port Adelaide. So if Geelong continue this way and continue and maybe win by, well, they're 82 points up now. If they can double that and win by about 160, they'll probably go 1% above Port Adelaide, which will jump them in the second spot. Of course, then that could end up them second. It all depends, folks, on the Giants, how their game goes, and of course Port Adelaide. So that's really going to be interesting. Anyway, we're going to head you back down to the ground for the bounce of the ball. The final quarter, which is underway. I'm a little bit late. Sorry, folks, but here we go for the final quarter. It's the Hawks by 66.
They do.
Woodlord picked it up. Had the toughest job to get a legal disposal. And still and more. That's one way of being able to win the footy close to goal.
Yeah, that's right. Good play. The pressure's been good today. He's had a quiet day, Dylan Moore, but going for his second goal.
That's the problem, as you said. I mean, you can put the clamps on one of them, but
yeah, they're just loaded, aren't they? Spoken a lot about. Well, McDonald had a big third quarter. He had a pretty quiet first half as well.
And his 98th game. And who knows the stage it's going to be when he celebrates his 100th. It could be second week of finals, perhaps the MCG. Maybe it'll be round 1 next year. We just don't know at this stage. Pink, Morrison.
A few little shifts that Sam Mitchell has gone with. McDonald is up onto that wing, so out of his forward roll up onto the wing. Weddle has actually gone forward of the contest, goes into the ruck here, but has been it started in that front 6. McGuinness goes in onto Simpkin to execute a tagging role, and Sicily, as you can see here, just coming up playing as the highest defender in the back 6.
Kenzie got it under his control. Guinness, there's that angle, across the body kick from Morrison. Core just kicked it even, knowing that there was so much opposition around him. Weddle, he put that together in his head. Bananas it deep to the square. Moore at the front, Luke Bruce. Ginnivan gave to Moore. Good work from Tucker, but a little bit dangerous.
What are the chances of the ball bouncing like that, Brownie, in these conditions? Brucey would be filthy about that one.
That's right. Only skidding on.
Hawks love this ground, that's for sure. Dominant record over the years.
And they love the MCG as well, which is more than likely that's where the first final will be, no matter who they play.
With the Bulldogs, that story still to be told. Started the day with the possibility of getting as high as 4th, as low as 9th. 4th's probably out of the question now with Geelong dominating against West Coast. Cats potentially eyeing off even 2nd place if things fall their way tomorrow. Wardlaw again. This time to tackle Lincoln.
You're not going to do a ladder predictor or finals predictor, but the way it's shaping up, depending on what Geelong are doing in the finals, there's a reasonable chance that Hawthorn could play the first couple of games of the MCG as an away team for their home final, for a final.
That's currently lead by 88 points. Sicily.
Built the close one.
Back through the middle we have. It's all relative, isn't it? Aim on for MP.
It's Sicily charging forward. He'll join in for another goal.
Bit of urging going on for that. McGuinness, though, high to the square.
What was the message at three-quarter time, you think, for Sam Mitchell?
He would have been imploring them to keep playing, to keep imposing the game style, and as he said, stay in good habits. He's flicked around a few roles, which I think is important. But I mean, they're holding field position here. Like, this is, you might not be scoring as heavily, but this is good footy. You're making it really hard for the opposition to move the ball, end to end. You've set up your defence. You'll be looking at structure. You can see the communication out the back. The Hawthorn that's out in the full. You see enough of what Hawthorn are doing behind the ball. So it's like they've got North in a sleeper hold, and it's just holding them where they want it. I don't mind that the clock runs down. They don't need to score heavily, but they want to see their system being executed well.
Oh, again. Another brilliant snap. A Dillon classic from Moore. And the lead expands to 73 points.
And I think one thing they have done, Brownie, is they've encouraged the players to fill their boots at any time. So, and they've got enough expressive players. I mean, Weddle here is getting significant ruck time. Dylan Moore, who's probably had a quieter game to what he's been able to put forward over the season to date. It's good for him to get a sniff of finishing.
Yeah, players feeling good about himself.
He's had a couple of shots on goal already this quarter. Their backs are playing really high and aggressive. They're enforcing a brand of footy that's hard to withstand, whether it's in open field or whether it's in contests, and that just gets them ready for what they're going to face.
8 goals from stoppage now.
Tucker shakes his head, but the ball's coming in again. McGuinness. Good stored stuff back there from Court.
So it's a little thing, but you don't want Chol to be outmarked there. That's got to come to ground. So you're saying, no, you got to play your role. You got to do the basics well, and your job's to bring that to ground.
Probing ball from Davies Uniac. Tickle in the air, Sicily on the ground. A return for the boot of Stevens. Placing the ball for Terry, it never arrived. Newcomb sees to that, and now the Hawks go into gear. McDonald tucks it under the arm. He can indulge in the bounce even in these conditions. Why not a second? It's not particularly easy. No real opposition yet. The zig and the zag through the middle. Quite painting the picture as pretty as he might have liked, but still it bubbles around.
Certainly James Sicily's getting aggressive with his position.
Yeah, well, that was clearly a change from three-quarter time. Right? You come up and play as the highest defender, you basically can go wherever you want because Toby Pink's following you. So you're basically playing with a five-man back line, a 6-man forward line, and Sicily's off the page. He can go wherever he wants, knowing that Pink's going to go with him everywhere.
Ennis is watching Simpkin so closely, but the ball goes Newcomb's way. McGuinness gets involved in the chain, and Newcomb kept on coming and delivered it beautifully. There was nothing Tucker could do then. Dylan Moore out of the square, takes another mark, and his quiet day suddenly, and he's going to burst into a third.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that build-up. So Warper getting sat on by Phillips. He's a big ball on the inside, and then Eucombe gets off him. He releases the second receiver. And beautiful delivery inside 50, which we know is a great strength of Hawthorn.
Just quietly kicks his third.
Just quietly.
And he's kicked 2 goals, 1 this quarter to all of Hawthorn's score. So he's gone from how did he hit? He's had 3 touches. So he had 4 touches at 3/4 time. He's had 3 touches this quarter for 2-1. And Darcy Tucker, to his credit, has done a really good job. It's been a bit off Broadway whilst we've been watching Hawthorn go about its business and lauding all of the players have done well. Darcy Tucker's. It's ironic, I think, when the rest of your teammates are up and running and you're getting sat on and getting sort of manned up, it's actually harder to find space when you've got so many other teammates that are in space. So the tag is more effective when you're blowing a team out. And Dylan Moore has found that, but he stuck with it. Stoppage goal, and then a contested mark there to finish.
Newcombe again, no sign they're waning with their effort here. Warple, Pink. Comes off Sicily to link up with Phillips. Mikey decided not to go. He's going to get in the road of Jury. Amon, look at the reflex handballs from the Hawks, and they knew exactly how to get out the side. Impey. Sicily. Davies Uniac. We're going to get a Shields goal in this last quarter. Maybe that's something else we're going to hope for.
Saw it go out to James Sicily before, Bucks. He's not really a part of the defensive structure anymore.
He's heading off at the moment to have a rotation. Toby Pink's coming with him.
There he goes.
And now you get Hardwick, who, yes, you go and play as a legitimate defender. And Zach Fisher, who's actually going to go and play in the front 6 for the Roos. But not a traditional setup at the moment.
Impey takes what he can, which is going to be returned off the boot of Fisher. Behind the required distance, and Phillips doesn't mark, so the disruption is made. Watson to Gunston. Good call from the up. Cherry realised that he can just palm it off. High from Davies Uniac. A run up at last for a North tall, but Tinkle can't bring it down. D'Ambrosio to Frost, who only barely takes possession. Impey to McDonald. Frost, that was sideways sling. Penetration on that kick, although it's a bit of a slippery slope for McGuinness, who just tackles instead.
Yeah, it's get a little bit sloppy, the Hawks. And it does make sense. You're 80 points up. You've done a lot right, but that kick by McDonald just needs to hit the target. Impey missed a ground ball, which we just haven't seen through the first 3 quarters.
Tough conditions for the ball handling.
They are human, and that's what makes the high-level performance over a long period of time so impressive from the Hawks. Given the back half of this season in particular.
Watson with improvisation. Call leaves it there for Moore from the pocket. Tangled, tackled high.
Jeez, what a last quarter. He's had his exploded into action. Another fantastic year doing more.
Such a highly respected individual within their playing group, within their locker room. His elite work rate, work ethic, and he's come from a position of being on the edge of being delisted.
He was unwanted, wasn't he, at one stage? Floats across the front.
Yeah, he's got this thing, just being going to the football and watching him live. He has got impressive work rate in all aspects.
Huge. Speaks really well too, doesn't he? As one of their leaders.
This week, he was awesome.
Markey's had to search far and wide to get up as part of the ruck combination to get amongst the footy today. Tinkle. Been deeper forward for longer as a result of that.
Well, there's another matchup that's run under the ether a little bit. So Scrimshaw has hardly given Tinkle a look in.
Just the one disposal, Tinkle. He's second. Bit of fancy work beforehand. Impey. Good defensive kick. Deer back to the inside. Here's Scrimshaw. Instinctively onto the left side to McKenzie. And progress is made. They're insistent on bouncing the wet ball. McDonald has skipped through half forward again, and Watson just takes the mark and he's off. You can't leave him. him. You just can't. Watson Elementary. More wizardry.
Yes, love that. Great to watch, wasn't it? It was great. I love the tap on by Kalshadir. I've seen it a couple of times in the Bunnings build up here. You're on fire, Hutto, but a lovely tap on earlier than that. And then the Wizard been waiting for this, building into the season nicely.
Bunnings build up happened quickly. How it went up from like low level decibels just to Watson. It was just, and that's basically about how quickly it happened too. Just those little change of angles. You talk about that tap back from Deer, but then and Scrimshaw's running. You go, okay, well, Mackenzie's got it messed up a bounce, but now I'm not heading the fat side anymore. I'm going to come back skinny. So McDonald's on his preferred leg on his right. The North defence is sliding across the fat side, which gave Watson some time. Just that change of angles through the middle is what Hawthorn do so well to give their forwards good looks.
Keeps the defenders off balance. Not going all the way to the other side, Bucks, just changing lanes almost.
Yep. It maintains forward momentum rather than lateral.
Exactly, yeah.
Come around on your mark. Play on.
Here's Liam Shields. Surely it's time to put him in the forward line.
Get him a goal.
McDonald.
This is his 10th. He's into double figures in his last game.
Oliver Drury's there. There's Morrison. There's Impey. Then Brosio.
Play on.
Possession 28. It's had another huge day. Scrimshaw, there's all sorts of elements of risk about that. Here's Shields. High. Just needs a 50 now.
Yeah, he does. It'd be great to see a goal, wouldn't it? Blood knows earlier in the day. Just keeps battling on.
Some Tommy was part of the pre-match.
Yeah, that was great. That'd be a great memory for him. Little Tommy had the North jumper on. Through the banner.
Larky. Good choice. Simpkin again with another opportunity to kick his third.
Yeah, he's kept battling on Josh Simpkin. You're right. Coming out for his 25th disposal on third goal. Hutto, he can kick straight.
Joy.
9 tackles as well. He's really battled hard today. And they've been beaten around the ball. They've been beaten in the clearances. Almost double them in the clearance count, Hawthorn. So that's an element of the game. They would have been disappointed with North Melbourne because they're pretty strong in that area.
He's never kicked 3 goals in an AFL game. You never know when these records can be broken. He puts it through.
Yeah, good finish there. So just keep competing all the way to the finish line. Their last 10 minutes of football for season 2024. Obviously, they're building forward into the future. It's interesting just look at the difference in the ages. So Hawthorn on average are about a season more experience than North Melbourne. So it gives you hope. There's a lot of talented youngsters. I'm not saying North Melbourne are going to be at Hawthorn's level next year, but things happen pretty quickly, don't they?
Can't they? It all comes together.
Yeah. So obviously this guy's going to be important, just showing that veteran leadership. The Hawks boys are pretty happy on the bench. Certainly Mitchell. It's been a great turnaround. They lose the first 5 games.
First 5, yeah. Then they lost. They beat North and then lost another game, so they were 1-6. And talked about it earlier, their defence in the last 9 games, and they've got the number 1 defence in the competition.
Yeah, they are number 2 offence.
You just have a look at their last 6. 6 weeks ago, Collingwood by 11 goals, Adelaide by 11 goals. You lose the game to GWS marginally. Carlton by 12 goals, Richmond by 11 goals, and now North. Like that's the form that they're carrying into September. I mean, some North and Richmond there in the last couple of weeks, but Collingwood and Carlton and GWS, they were 30 points up right at the end of the third quarter. So they're putting a few teams to the sword.
And they were beating GWS comfortably.
Well, it's
3/4 time.
And part of that is sniffing blood. They're not just winning games; they are controlling games. That's not easy to do at this level for 4 quarters against any opposition. Well, controlling games.
Yeah, you're right. Their percentage was poor. I mean, 7 or 8 weeks ago compared to the other top 8 teams.
Well, 64% at one stage early in the season.
Yeah,
They're in
was.
17th, so
Now they're up over
gradually
15%.
worked up. And it's now the 4th best in the competition.
Yeah.
Another rope free kick.
To Weddle.
Not Sherry this time.
Hasn't got amongst the goals today. Kicked 9 for the season, and most of them have been quite special. That one's got a bit of work to do. 8:30.
Unique player, isn't he, Josh Weddle?
Yeah.
Like he just
Extremely
because he moves so well, you sort of forget his stature. He's a big boy, so if you can play ruck, forward of the ball, behind the ball.
He's seen on the wide open space at the MCG in September.
Yeah.
Could make a real name for himself.
I remember he went back to the flight and sort of ducked the head a little bit early, and then he's answered that.
Dear D'Ambrosio, one and another. Why not indeed? His second, and the Hawks 20th in style. It's 87 points.
Would have to make a strong case for pickup of the season, recruit of the season. D'Ambrosio has gone from on the edge of Essendon to All-Australian level player this year. And magnificent performance against today, as you said. Hutto, 29 touches, 2 goals. As a permanent winger, he's got that left foot, a lethal left foot too, which we spoke about earlier in the call that forwards love.
If you look,
just have a look at the bottom of the ladder there, Buck. Sorry to interrupt, but that North Melbourne percentage is eroding further. So if Richmond have a win today, which is a big if, and it's got any sort of margin on it, North could end up being wooden spooners again. For all of the positives we're seeing this year with North Melbourne, it really is a pretty dismal end of the season. We can absolutely see where the growth is, but they are being dominated by the Hawks. Ambrosio just going past. Through the hands of Meek. They're clamouring for more. It's not more, it's Weddle. The tongue's out, the celebrations are everywhere. They're searching for another huge win. It's gone to 93 points now.
Yeah, he looms as the most exciting player in September, Hutto. He really does. It'd be a commentator's dream if he can bring this sort of stuff to the MCG and some of the other finals venues. Watching now starting as a full forward. He can play anywhere. He's one of the most versatile players in the competition. We've seen him play in the ruck in the third quarter. He's mainly played as a key defender. Play anywhere, playing as a forward. Good finish. He's good at ground level. He's obviously super quick. High mark.
We were talking about D'Ambrosio before as a recruit. I mean, Lloyd Meek's been excellent. Charles, as a 26-year-old ruckman, Lloyd Meek, 27-year-old Chol, Amon and Impey are recruits from other sides. Frost, Ginnivan, they've all come in and been better players at Hawthorn than they were at their previous clubs. It's a good sign. And a lot of those mature age players as well, so to be able to improve late in their careers.
Sicily almost toppled over. Hanson wasn't quite close enough. Now gets a second choice. Phillips didn't have much time at all. Wardlaw busts the first tackle, enables him to get the kick away, but only as far as mine.
Yeah, I think that's why they've been able to bounce so quickly. There's obviously been a big focus on Hawthorn's drafting, but you're right, so those veteran players that come in and been able to improve individually.
Aim on to Warple. It's a little untidy, but that's not bad. All that. Warple, Sicily, he was already thinking goal. He was thinking glory. He still might get the chance. Put the pressure on Powell. Can Tucker get out? No. And he's gone. Sorry.
Yeah, Sicily was definitely thinking goals there, you're right. And that clean, or the fumble, instead of being clean, cost him a goal. When you think about that after, just had to take a clean and I was away. Geez, they're definitely looking for him, there's no doubt. Dylan Moore knows that if I can find a metre of space here, Luke Bruce will find me. Very good use of the footy.
Brett Ratton, the North Melbourne plays well. He was there last year as the caretaker coach while Alistair Clarkson was on leave.
Came so close to having a victory with them, but was unable to. There's the Moore kick. So he's ended up having 6 shots at goal, Dylan Moore, for 3 goals, 3.
5 of them in this group, 5 touches, 2-3. So he doesn't want to touch unless he's going to get a shot on goal.
Mario Chol has 35 goals for the season. More on 34. They've got their own little duel going on. A lot of answers for Drury there, but he settles on playing it wide and relatively conservatively, hoping that Wardlaw could do that. Good body work. Hansen continues to show glimpses to Curtis. No easy task hanging onto the footy. Even what seems simple isn't today in these trying conditions. Morrison, though, takes it away. With purpose they run. D'Ambrosio to Ginnivan. The luxury of some time and some space. Gets it deep for Moore again, and here's Sicily coming out of the square.
Even then, the way Jack Ginnivan rips it across his body. You know, they've got a lot of kickers that are capable of that. That looked as if it was going to go more to the central part of the 50.
Ginnivan. Difficult for Pink, and then McDonald just passing the pressure. The hunt is still on, isn't it, from Moore and from Newcomb, prepared to wear the contact, and there it is. It's high on Bruce. So Luke Bruce in his 298th game. And I think when he showed his loyalty to the club, it would have been really optimistic in his thinking to think that he could have been part of another finals campaign for one, but potentially part of another campaign to seek the ultimate glory.
He saw the growth from within.
He's been the regular sub, and he hasn't minded that at all. Goal kicking now is still on display. He has not lost it at all. And the lead is precisely 100.
Yeah, he's been really well managed throughout the year, hasn't he? And throughout the back half of his career. I mean, nearly exclusively used as that sub, and he's a perfect sub. You know, to be able to come on and have impact, low touches, absolutely high impact. You know, and to milk everything that he can give for as long as you can will be beneficial to this Hawthorn side. He could probably do what he's doing for another 2 years, given his actually time on field hasn't been huge. So it's but obviously the impact on the Hawthorn small forwards is profound as well, teaching them the craft.
Still they come. Bruce again. Oh, he's got it. Yes, he has. Fill your boots, Bruce.
Fill your boots to a quarter, isn't it?
It is.
Feeling more than Luke Bruce. Yeah, he's only 33 years old. I say only, like you see players now playing 35, 36, and you're right, Bucks, as a sub, or almost as a professional sub, you can draw it out for another couple of years, especially providing real leadership presence in the locker room as well, which we know he would be. He's a fantastic character. Big part of that premiership success, of course. He's got great nous for where the goals are. He's been relatively healthy. Just able to finish there nicely, so he'll be feeling good about himself going into next week.
And his experience will be invaluable for this group. Way back when we came into 02, Glenn Freeborn was the only player on our list that had played in finals footy, and he basically became, the guy was front and centre to help us through it. So Bruce and Gunston will be important in that role.
Their biggest win against North was at this venue. 115 points was the margin. Back in 2012. But his big day as the Hawks come away again. McKenzie just easing them out to the wing, and here is Weddle. What sort of plans has he got for this little...
Give it back to him.
No, Joel. Straight ahead. And Moore takes the mark.
Darcy Tucker was thinking, I've done a good job with him in 3/4 time.
Sorry, Darcy. He's had 10 score involvements in the end. This will be 11. A chance for a game-high 4 goals.
It's like they're trying to get him to 100 goal kick.
It isn't.
Yeah. To win the Coleman or
tie up
something.
with Joel on their goal kicking.
Yeah.
Just for... Come back to Luke Bruce for me.
This is for a 112-point lead. And Dylan Moore has converted again. What a final quarter. Another flex for the mighty Fighting Hawks. 8 goals for in this quarter to match their 8 in the second. 24 for the day. It's really blowing out now.
And we have seen a different forward mix. So Moore's deeper. Obviously, Bruce comes into that front 6. It's different to what it was in the first half. So it's stimulating to the players, and they're moved into different roles and they're challenged in different ways. So that keeps them engaged. So it's smart coaching by Sam Mitchell. We're just looking at Luke Bruce's total minutes for the year. Like, he's played 16 games, but he's only played 36% of Hawthorn's game time across the whole season. So he's been off for a lot of it, came on for some, but he's been present for 16 games, but has barely played more than a quarter and a half on average across those 16 games.
Sis is desperate to get a goal here, Bucks. He's just bolted forward again. He said, you know what, everyone else is getting one, I'm going to get one too.
He's dropped 2 marks. He's fumbled one and dropped another one. That's why he was filthy just before.
It's the Roos that get that look in first. As we said, they need one more goal to make it their biggest ever win against the Kangaroos. Currently 115. And they are 112 points ahead. Sicily leads back to the goal square. The setup is there. He stays down at the front. He's got company. There's Weddle. Others.
You're a bit sore and sorry there.
A bit
Looked a bit stunned, didn't he? Yeah. Didn't see the contest.
He's okay there. He's not back on his feet. Part of the scrap. Bruce. Warple. Tries to get a little bit creative.
I think Bruce wanted it back then so he could have a snap on the left, but didn't happen.
And at 50 left in this. This is where the concussion rules are interesting, aren't they, in terms of days when your first final is, if a player happened to cop a knock.
Yes. Well, could they play if it was a Thursday night? Is that, I know that's 12 days, but what is it? Is it like if one happened today?
Right on the edge.
Yeah.
And that's a minimum, remember, depending on how the players come up. And I suppose that's considering that with the games tomorrow with that Thursday final.
Kenzie, and Moore not far off again. Tucker, the tackler. Here's Sicily. Ginnivan on the spin. That's where they've sent North Melbourne. Ginnivan again. Well controlled. The mark is paid. Didn't play jury.
Could that ever come into the AFL's decision making? If you're right on the, if you had a star player.
Hang on. Ginnivan. There is time enough for at least one more. Meek. Oh, Sicily's got it in the end. And this lead was humongous from Hawthorn. It's 118 points. They have more than fulfilled their end of the bargain today.
Good. That's the second time we've seen that from Ginnivan, his reaction. So defensively, the reactions have been very good all across the board from the Hawks. 9 goals, 4 in the last quarter from 18 entries. Pretty efficient. Sam Mitchell will be happy if they get that efficiency going into September.
9 multiple goal kickers for Hawthorn today.
Yeah, they've gone 4 in the first, 8 in the second, 4 in the third, 9 in the last. So they've definitely right of screen was where they filled their boots. 17 goals in total to the right of screen, 8 to the left, and yeah, they've shared the spoils around, and they've stayed engaged through the whole 4 quarters. Good tackle.
Newcomb got it away. D'Ambrosio. Awful. Sicily again. The captain. He wants to have a shot. It'll be right on the siren. And he's going to give that honour to Mabior Chol, who can let the seconds soak down, get the breath back. They've handled these conditions so well. What a proud coach he must be. It's less than 10 years since their last flag and only 6 years since they were last in the final. So this club knows success like few others, and they are back. How big are you prepared to dream this September, Hawthorn? It has been an incredible journey already, and they have saved to the last home and away game for their biggest win of the season. And every other club fears what's ahead. Just what might they achieve, and how would they celebrate? Their biggest ever win over North Melbourne. Hawthorn are there. It's just a matter of how high they finish and who they play. And Super Saturday, we now go to the MCG for the Tigers and the Suns.
All right, folks, there we go. What a victory for Hawthorn. They just look super, super impressive. I'll tell you what, yeah. How are the other teams going to handle the Hawks? Come finals time, which is not far away now, 26-14, 170 defeating North Melbourne, 7-4-46. Pretty dismal end to the Kangaroos. I think they were looking for the end so they can take a well-earned break for the season now. But what a incredible performance by Hawthorn, who just looked like they were going half pace all day, super, super in control in every aspect of this game. There we go. Let's just have a quick glance and see who the stats getters were before I end this live and head over to the Richmond Gold Coast game. John Newcomb ended up with 35 for the Hawks, Ambrosia 31. Only 2 players to top 30 possessions on the ground. Ukanaki 26. He was the best for the Kangaroos. James Sicily, great game with 24. We keep rolling down this for you good folk out there. Check out your stats, all your players. George Wardle ended up with 20, 8 kicks, 12 handballs. A good game there from him. We keep going down there. Nicky Watson, I tell you what, I keep saying he's a star. He's a real gun. 15 disposals. He had 9 kicks. He kicked 3 goals too. He's a real terrier down in that forward line for the Hawks with so much speed and cheek about him. He's going to be one player that I think could be hard to match up on or keep under wraps in the days to come for the finals there. There we go. That is the stats. Let's quickly go back up and have a look at the goal scorers. Tigers don't want to win. They want to lose number 1 draft pick. Absolutely. I would think so too. You know, and that being said, the next game is at the MCG, and the Gold Coast, they don't travel well. They don't travel well. So can they win? It's going to be who wants to kick the least score, I think, in that game. But it'll be interesting anyway to cover and see. Dylan Moore, leading goal scorer with 4 there for the Hawks. Nick Watson with 3. Connor McDonald with 3. Chol with 3. Of course, Jai Simpson for the Kangas ended up with 3. Not too bad from him. James Sicily, Ginnivan, Deer, Ambrosia and Roost all kicked 2. And then we've got a few singles there to Zerhart, Wardle, Pink, Newcomb, Gunston, Curtis. They were your goal scorers for today's match. And the AFL Fantasy points, Jai Simpkin with 121, Ambrosia 117, Xeri 109, Sicily 103, Newcomb 103, and the rest under that. The team stats, let's just look quickly at the team stats. It was 84 for the Hawks in front there. The kicks by about 25. The handballs, 60 odd there. Inside 50, 65. They did it pretty comfortably there, the Hawks. Efficiency, both efficiencies not too bad. Just the inside 50 for North Melbourne let them down. Free kicks, 26-22. Plenty given there today. North Melbourne did well in the hit-outs, only trailing by 3 at the end. The clearances, Hawks well on top, 57-34. Centre clearances, Hawks dominated, doubled North Melbourne's 10-20. Stoppage clearances, they're 37-24. Contested possessions, both contested the ball reasonably well today. Uncontested, the Hawks were just in control of the ball, so they were there by around about 70 odd there. The turnovers, both turned it over a fair bit. As I said, it was a little bit slippery, a bit of dew on the ball today. It was cloudy and misty down there in Tasmania. All right, the marks, 61-59, only 2 to the Hawks there. Marks inside 50. Big discrepancy there, 13-5. Hawks just too strong in their forward 50. Just fantastic effort and good signs for the Hawks coming into the finals as we go to the tackles. Well, the Hawthorn actually put on a few more tackles, but the tackles inside 50, 14-10 going Hawthorn's way. There we go. The 1%ers, of course, the Hawks did a bit more. Let's just have a look at the Hawks now. The live ladder, is that updated? Is that updated? That has updated the live ladder. So the Hawthorn have jumped up in the 5th spot now, out of the top 4, but that will allow them to get a home final. No second chance, but that will give them a home final. Now we just have to wait on results for the Brisbane West Coast Carlton game to see whether they can stay there. Of course, in the other game at the moment, 7 minutes into the 3rd quarter, it's Geelong leading 19-6, 120 to the West Coast Eagles, 3-4-22. 98 points is the margin there down at Geelong, and Geelong are building that percentage up quite nicely. And I dare say by the end of that match, they may even jump up into 2nd position. But that is the game here, folks. Hawthorn well in control, defeating North Melbourne, who are definitely looking for the end of the season to come. All right, folks, I want to thank everyone for coming into the live today. Much appreciated to all the millions of viewers that popped on in here to say good day, listening to their team play. Another shellacking, absolutely. That was, I tell you what, I haven't seen a team all year dominate so easily and control the game as much as Hawthorn did today. It was a little bit like a training drill for the Hawks today. They were super impressive. Super impressive. I think good things to come. So that'll be actually very interesting. If the Hawks end up 5th, who would they like to play? Who would the Hawks like to play? Would they like to play Brisbane, the Bulldogs, Carlton or Freo? Who knows? It's going to be the MCG, so it's going to be pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be tough, but I tell you what, it's going to be extremely exciting finals when we get there. I think we have a week off until the finals. I think that's what I heard. I think after the home and away season, after this weekend, I think there's a week off and then the finals start the week after that. But we'll definitely cover all the games in the finals. Definitely looking forward to that. I think this is going to be one of the best finals we've seen in a long time. Unfortunately, the Magpies aren't going to be there for us, Paul. I think they would have given it a big shake as well, the form they had running into it. But yeah, Hawthorn's going to be pretty exciting. It'll be interesting to see how far they can actually go. It'll be I tell you what, it's going to be fantastic to watch and see that. Anyway, thanks everyone for coming in. This is where I will say see you later. Very even. Oh, the finals are very even. Anyone could win this. There is definitely no standout. You know, as I was saying before, And I always say Hawthorn can go a fair way, but, you know, as the commentators were saying, they haven't had that finals experience, and we all know the finals are a different kettle of fish. That is when the pressure is extremely ramped up, and it's a whole different ball game, so we'll definitely see there. But we're going to head over to the Richmond Gold Coast game in just a couple of minutes, and of course in that game, 5 minutes into that game, and it's a Gold Coast leading Richmond 2 goals to 1 goal, 12 points to 6. So we'll see you over there in just a few moments' time. Once again, thanks everyone for coming in. Enjoy the rest of the footy for the weekend. We're gonna live stream the Richmond Gold Coast game coming up in about 2 minutes. All right, folks, ciao for now. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you on the next live.